California Bowl. We are in Bulldog Stadium in Fresno, California for the 1987 California Bowl. Today, the Mid-American Conference champion Eastern Michigan Hurons meet the Pacific Coast Athletic Association champs, the San Jose State Spartans. Today's game is being brought to you by Michelob and by the Fresno Convention and Visitors Bureau and by Buick, and your Buick dealer. The Great American Road belongs to Buick. And by Delta Airlines. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Papa. Today's the day for football wives and girlfriends to run for cover. The college football bowl season begins. This being the first of 18 to come their way. But it is a bit unique, and it's one of only two in the country to lock both schools in through conference affiliation. Of course, the other being the Rose Bowl. Let me bring in my partner, Stan White, Ohio State linebacker, who unfortunately knows all about the Rose Bowl. Stan, this game, in more ways than just that, is similar to the Rose Bowl.
Well, sure it is. It's a contrast of style. The Midwestern teams that like to run the football against the pass-happy California teams. And sadly to say, from my standpoint, the California teams have had their ways in both bowl games the past several years. You can see Eastern Michigan, 60% of their offense on the ground. San Jose State, nearly 3/4 of their yardage in the air.
Now, Eastern Michigan's members may even be more dramatic to this. They may feel they have to run the ball against that Spartan attacking 46 defense.
And they have the guys that can run the football. Ron Adams is able to run the option as well as to scramble from aborted pass attempts. And, of course, they have Gary Patton, who's gained 1,000 yards in both the last 2 seasons, all MAC, both years. He'll get the ball a lot to them.
And the reason they want to run is to keep it away from the Spartan offense. Mike Perez, the Guy Liggins, and Deputy Gale.
Well, Mike Perez, second in total offense in the country this year. Guy Liggins, second in receptions. They can go long, they can go short. I'm sure we'll see that combination time and time again today.
All right, that's what Stan and I think. Now let's find out from two guys who really have an opinion, the two head coaches.
We have to play to the very top of our ability. San Jose is truly a top 20 football team, and I think Perez and Liggins and some of those kids even take them a notch up, and that's what we think in our conference that Ron Adams and Gary Patton do for us, is take us a little notch up. But we haven't proven to ourselves or anybody that we can play Pac-10 or Big Ten football teams, and so we have to play to that level. We'd like to believe we can, and so I think that's the key, is that we have to play to the very top of it and prove to ourselves and everybody else that we can play that caliber football.
I know these guys are good. They're a good football team. They're well coached. They have more speed than, I think, the typical team back there, and they can do it well, both running and passing, and they play awfully good defense. So I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Well, it should be. AP has the Spartans 24th in the country, Eastern Michigan 27th. Kickoff is next, Eastern Michigan and San Jose State. The college football bowl season is set to begin. San Jose State at 10-1, champions of the PCAA, to kick off to Eastern Michigan, 9-2, the champs of the Mid-American Conference. Sergio Olivares kicks off. We're underway from Fresno. Glenard Smith, number 9, from his 10-yard line. And he has a hole, a huge hole. Olivares, the only guy that can bring him down. He breaks that, and now he's shoved out with the help from Jay Taylor. As Taylor's a great, quick defensive back, 47-yard kick return for Glenard Smith, who averages only 20 a ball game. So Ron Adams and the Hurons have great field position. Adams starting his 22nd consecutive game as the Huron quarterback, co-most valuable player, along with their tailback Gary Patton. Big play has the Hurons on the Spartan 42 stand.
It sure does, and that's what they need. Big plays win football games. And we see something new right away. It's a wishbone, Greg. They're going to try to establish that running game.
They go to the bone, something they have done inside the opponent's 20, but they do it to begin the ball game, trying to throw this Spartan 46 defense off balance. And they pitch to Bob Foster, the tailback, He is dropped there by Greg Cox, along with Yepi Pa'u'u. There's Pa'u'u. They call him the Tongan Hitman, second leading tackler on this Spartan club. Offensive backs for the Hurons, Chuck Nash, Gary Patton, and also Bob Foster on as they go to the wishbone. Ostrander and Ziegler, two good route runners. Offensive line is big. Evan Hicks goes 325, and Brian Klaus next one are the best two linemen the Hurons have. They play on the right side. They go to the wishbone again. First down brought no yardage. 2nd and 10. Adams, a fifth-year senior from Taylor, Michigan. And he pitches to Gary Patton. And he's shoved out of bounds by Phil Fresh, a senior left cornerback from Bakersfield. For the San Jose State Spartan defense, they play a three-man line of this 46. Hutcherson, Guthrie, and Puccini. The linebackers, the strength. The two inside guys are exceptional. Barry Kidney and Yepi Pa'u'u. The DBs are led by number 7, Jay Taylor, who saved possibly a kick return touchdown. He's very quick, and Greg Cox is a monster in the secondary, playing Roverback, a ferocious hitter. We have a 3rd down and 5 coming up. Patton picked up 5. They stay in the wishbone. Nash with Foster and Patton behind. Quarterback Adams. They jump off sides. Tim Wells does. Flags go down. Foster fumbles the football, and Jay Taylor has it for San Jose State. But they jumped off sides. The question now, were they drawn, or did they jump on his own?
No, I think he jumped on. He went on sound, try to make that big 3rd down play defensively. You'll see it at the bottom of your screen right there. He's on the ground, obviously, when the ball is snapped. He knows he has a free play here, so he makes a ill-advised pitch, a little too close to him, hits him right on the shoulder pad and goes down. But it'll be enough for a 1st down. It was just a little less than 5 on 3rd down.
That's a backbreaker for San Jose State.
Offside against the defense.
It's exactly what Jim Harkiman wants, though. Make those 3rd down plays because he's got to keep the football.
Eugene Wirtz, our referee, and all of these officials come from the Western Athletic Conference, which, like the PCAA, is a passing conference. Stan, the MAC is a run conference. Would that have any factor favoring San Jose State, do you feel?
Well, you never know what some built-in biases or prejudice we all have. You never know how that's going to be. Obviously, they're all from the West Coast. Hopefully, though, sometimes it works both ways. Sometimes they overcalled against the team you would think they'd be for.
Well, Tim Wells' mistake has the Hurons at 1st and 10 from the Spartan 32. Here's Bob Foster. He's inside the 30. And he's dropped at about the 28. Phil Fresh again stepped up to make the play. He is their 6th top tackler and a couple of interceptions, bringing down Bob Foster. Go ahead, Stan.
One thing this wishbone does, it gets both Patton and Foster into the game. Two excellent running backs. You know, they've been alternating quite a bit this year. And you don't lose a whole lot with Foster, who almost had 500 yards on his own in a backup role.
He'll be their main man next year, as Patton is a senior. 2nd and 6. And for the first time, they hand off to the fullback, Chuck Nash, the freshman ball carrier. He was brought down by Yepi Pa'u'u. Nash is starting again this week. He is forced to play since week 5 when Steve Palmatier, their top fullback, went down in week 5 with a knee injury, and Nash is a true freshman and a walk-on. What a great story there.
That is a story. A kid that moved to Georgia his senior year, didn't like it down there, quit, didn't even play football, came back, and all of a sudden now he's starting in the Cal Bowl just a year later.
Well, they break the bone here on 3rd and 3. Go to the I formation, 2 wide receiver alignment. Adams' first pass of the game. It's a dump to Foster. Or pardon me, to Patton. He has the 1st down. And he's out across the 20-yard line. Patton is a good receiver. Didn't use him as much receiving this year as last year. 15 this year. Last year, 37.
It goes down as a pass, but really it's not more than a toss. Just a delayed action on the toss. He gets a blocker out in front of Patton. It's more than just a running play with a quarterback throwing the ball overhand.
Ryan Rasnick shoved Patton out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. Keeps it inside the 15. Adams down to the 11-yard line. Ryan Rasnick again makes the tackle, and Stan, so far the Wishbone attack has worked exactly the way Jim Harkema, the Eastern Michigan coach, had this thing diagrammed.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is exactly what he wants. Use up as much time as he can, keep the ball on the ground, keep that clock running, and still score some points.
And pick up positive yardage on first down. You don't want to get into a 2nd and 10, a 2nd and 9 against this Spartan defense. With the blitzing, they can come with the 2 backers, then you're in trouble.
Exactly.
Now they have a 2nd and 1. Ideal. They stay to the bone. And they hand off to the fullback, Nash. He crossed the 10, then he was shoved back. We'll see where they spot it. I think he has the first down at the 9-yard line, where Yempi Pa'u'u and Greg Cox make the tackle.
But I tell you, Greg, they're at the toughest place on the football field right now to score from, the 9-yard line. You got to get all the way into the end zone. You'd much rather have a chance to get a first down inside the 10. Now they got to go all the way. This first down play is very important on whether they'll get a touchdown out of this or try to have to end up trying a field goal.
Now this was the point on the field where during the regular season Eastern Michigan went to the Wishbone inside the 20, and they were very successful with it. Now they're inside the 10. They face the 1st and goal from the 9. Nash with Patton and Foster behind. That's Bob Foster, and he picks up good yardage on first down inside the 5 before Greg Cox stepped up along with Ferry Kidney.
Excellent power football off the Wishbone. This is not an option. This is just a power play. You give it to the off halfback with the other 2 backs leading you through. They just blew back that defensive line of San Jose State. Now, obviously, these guys aren't that big up front.
No.
You're talking about 248, 236, 233. In fact, they call themselves the Ant Patrol because of their size.
That's part of the reason Harkema went to the Wishbone, figuring his team could beat him up. Here's Patton, and he shoves himself down near the goal line. I believe he's just shy of the goal line. That'll bring up a 3rd down. Yempi Pa'u'u. And Mike Hutcherson make the tackle.
Just flipping it over the other side. Again, just power football. Watch him just carry Pa'u'u, the Tongan hitman. It looks like he scored from that angle, but the official said that he bounced into the end zone. They got the ball just about a foot short of the goal line.
Appeared his helmet got across, but of course the ball does have to go across. Jim Harkema, near unanimous MAC Coach of the Year, faces a 3rd down and 1. We've played 5-10, and his team has had the ball the whole while. One of the Spartans may have jumped. No flag down. Now a flag is thrown. And they did not say he got in. They held him. San Jose State held. But again, flags are down.
And they say there might even been a fumble. They're celebrating like they recovered a fumble, but I think it was an obvious offsides on San Jose. They're coming out there. Pa'u's coming out with the football, but I think they're going to call it back.
You're right. David Knox snuck his helmet in there, but it's going to be disallowed. Offsides again against San Jose State. Now the Spartans, far and away this year, the most penalized team in college football. 133 penalties stand for 999 yards. That is quite a bit. Claude Gilbert's not real upset with that because it is part of the aggression on defense.
They have offside against the defense, half the distance, still 3rd down.
Well, this is one of the 1,000-yard barriers you don't like to cross because they're over 1,000 now in penalty yardage. Plus, it gives them another play to score on. They did get the football on the fumble that time.
He doesn't mind the aggressive penalties, but certainly 2 offsides.
Those aren't, not in this situation.
That's going to kill him. 1st and goal, actually 3rd and goal from the 1. That's Bob Foster hurdling up. And there's the signal. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan.
It took him 2 thrusts to get in. They had him stopped in the 1st thrust. You'll watch and you'll see it's the 2nd thrust that gets him in. It's just this basic power play. Right there, he's stopped. Now watch his 2nd thrust. There, it gets him into the end zone. He wanted to score, and he got the ball in, and that gives Eastern Michigan the lead in this game, and that's important for them to get that lead. See right there, he stopped. Now watch his 2nd lunge right there. Okay, gets in the end zone. They're on the board first. They need to establish the ground game first. They did. They need to get a lead. They did. Now it's up to their defense to do something.
Tim Hennigan, who has hit 31 of 34 extra points, is on. Quite a first series for Eastern Michigan. Big kick return. They drive 42 yards and score on a 1-yard dive. 9:39 to play. First quarter. It is the Hurons 7 and the Spartans nothing. Up a Stan White Bulldog Stadium, Fresno, California, and the Eastern Michigan Hurons a most successful first 5.5 minutes of play as they go in cap off a 42-yard, 10-play drive, which chewed up 5:21 and leads 7-0. Now, coming into the ball game, Stan, San Jose State was a heavy favorite. Some lines I read as much as 17 points. For the Hurons to score that way on their first drive, what a big confidence boost.
Oh, it has to be a great confidence boost. They've watched films of these guys going up and down the field, manhandling teams. You got to say, geez, how good are these guys? For them to get this early score tells them they can do something against this football team. Maybe they didn't think they could until that.
Eastern Michigan has 2 kickers. You saw Hennigan earlier. This guy, John Laup, is their long kicker. Dropping back deep is James Saxon, but he won't have it. It's a short kick. It'll be taken by one of the up people. This is Donald Stewart, a backup fullback, and he's out to the 31-yard line, where the Spartans down 7-0 come on the field, led by senior quarterback Mike Perez. He has set 15 San Jose State school records, number 2 in the country in total offense, number 14 in passing efficiency. He could be the top quarterback chosen in the NFL draft this spring, Stan.
Well, he has all the statistics, that's for sure, and he has all the capabilities, the size, the arm. Very well could be.
Play action pass. Perez to throw. He has all day, firing down the middle. Caught for a first down. That's Guy Liggins. No, it was, what are they saying now? Was the ball taken away? Tom Menard stepped up there. It appeared to go over the middle for a completion, and they are going to say the ball remains in possession of San Jose State. Let's check this one out again.
Yeah, let's see. The ball did pop out. Did it pop out before he hit the ground? We'll see. Got plenty of good pass protection here. See the linebackers drawn up. Now, they don't get quite deep enough. He gets so much time. He just meant plenty of time to pick out Liggins. The ball's right there. Now, the ball looked like it was starting to come out before he hit the ground, but the referee called it down. We did see the ball hit the ground before his actual body hit the ground. It's hard to tell where his knees were, though.
Offensive line gave him great protection first series. Mike Bernard is the best of the people up front, certainly a pro prospect. They move Liggins in motion, and they hand off to Kenny Jackson. Big hole. Breaks it 45-40, and he's pushed out by Jerry Smith at the 30-yard line of Eastern Michigan. 25-yard pickup. So San Jose State stands showing off their diversity. First play of the game goes 15 to the pass, then a 25-yard run. Well, offensive line for Eastern Michigan, 4-man front. Eric Miller, the top sacker. Linebackers, Keith Bertram is their leading tackler on the ball club. Dan Bennett is a freshman corner. Maybe a point of attack. Also Charles Gordon back there. He's the best defensive player they have.
But he missed the tackle on that last play that gave an extra 15 yards.
First and 10, Spartans trying to tie the game. They pitch to Kenny Jackson again. Short side of the field, picks up 3. Kenny Jackson, a senior out of San Mateo, California. Last year ran for over 1,100 yards. This year only 818, because the guy in your picture right there, number 20, James Saxon, became more a factor in the Spartan attack.
That's what they say. They say Kenny Jackson didn't play any less this year. He just didn't have to carry the load as much with James Saxon. In fact, last year Jackson became only the 5th NCAA player to rush for over 1,000 yards and catch 50 passes in the same season.
Yeah, and San Jose State has had 2 of them. Gerald Wilhite also did it. Second down, play action, Perez to throw. And he throws behind James Saxon. Coverage there by outside linebacker Anthony Johnson. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 for Mike Perez.
Well, that's the favorite play action pattern right there. Eastern Michigan has been working on defending that pattern all week long. They like to hit Liggins in the slot off the play action, and clear out and bring him right through the slot and down the sideline. Jim Harkham has been working on it all week long, and the defense recognized it and stopped it that time.
San Jose State now employs 3 wide receivers. Liggins in motion with McLeod and Kenny Roberts out there. 3rd and 7 over the middle, wide open. It's caught by the tight end Klump. He's inside the 10, and he's down to the 9 before Charles Gordon and Tom Menard bring him down. 19-yard pickups. Then this thing breaks wide open over the middle.
Well, nobody takes him. They're so gone on Liggins trying to stop him. They forget the tight end, and he leads this team in yards per catch with 19.3. You got to cover everybody. Somebody made a mistake here because he's running down the field free. And Perez, as smart as he is, the way he can read, he'll pick that up right away.
He likes his tight end. Klump caught 20 this year. Most in San Jose State 4 years with a tight end. Here's Kenny Jackson down to about the 6-yard line.
you can't become over enamored with the guy Liggins, because the other guys can burn you too. Just a power run right here by Kenny Jackson. Almost busted. Just get him by the leg. They stop him at the 6-yard line.
Mike Burns, Keith Bertram on the tackle. These two teams obviously strong defensive outfits, but they're known for their offense. San Jose State, 6th best scoring team in the country, 35.5 a ball game. But all offense so far. There's Kenny Jackson again. Touchdown! As that opened up wide through the middle. How often does a guy run in from the 6 up the middle and go in virtually untouched?
That's one thing defensively is a sin. You never let the ball carrier go into the end zone standing up. If he's going to score, make him pay for it. But just a counter play. You see both linemen pulling around. Good blocks, and again, just opens wide up. The linebackers overreacted on the first step by the backs and were in great position to be blocked and cut off from the pursuit angles.
Kenny Jackson was hurt in last year's California Bowl, making up for it this year. Off to a great start. 4 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Oliveras for the extra point. It's straight up and good. So San Jose State answers back quickly, going 70 yards in less than 2.5 minutes, and they tie the ball game. 7:19 to play. First quarter, each team has a touchdown. Well, San Jose State was at its best on their opening possession. It took them only 2:20 to go 70 yards, and Kenny Jackson scored the touchdown. He now has 17 touchdowns this year, a school record for touchdowns. Oliveras to kick off again. 7-7. So Eastern Michigan does so well on their first possession stand, but then their defense really was non-existent on that first series and gives it all back.
Well, Jim Harkiman knew they'd get the yardage, but what he didn't want them to do is be able to strike quickly, and they did. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, the worst part of that stat, because that means all the wood work that Eastern did went down the drain quickly.
Oliveras kicks off again. Glenard Smith with a big return to open the ball game. And this time he's hemmed in and dropped before he makes the 20. He's put down at the 16-yard line.
Well, here's much better special teams coverage for San Jose State. I'm sure their special teams coach on the sideline said, don't get us in the hole again. They get down there quick. That's always the goal. They give special bonus points for getting the returner inside the 20. Glenard Smith just did not get the ball quickly enough to stay close enough to his wedge. The wedge got in front of him, and once they busted through it, it was easy prey.
David Knox made the tackle. They began their first series in the Spartan 42, their second series on their own 17. That's Gary Patton, pulled down by Mike Hutcherson. Hutcherson a great second half of this year as he made honorable mention All-American, or pardon me, honorable mention All-PCAA. Short gain brings up second down. Spartan 46 defense. Outstanding rush defense. Third best in the country. They give up only about 84 a ball game yards.
And that's what we talked about. You don't want second down and 9, because now they get out of that wishbone. They have to go to an offense they'd rather not run. They'd rather keep the ball on the ground out of the wishbone.
They're out of the wishbone now. They hand off to the tailback. Patton again. Out across the 23, about the 24-yard line before Greg Cox makes the tackle on Patton. Last 2 years he has rushed for over 1,000 yards. This year 1,112, third best in the MAC. The MAC had 4 ball carriers this year over 1,000.
That was close. That was the old sprint draw, and he got past the first wave. He just got tripped up just a little bit where he couldn't make the open field move on Cox. If he could have had a little bit of more footing, he might have been able to get by that one tackler. He had a lot of yards to go.
3rd and 5. Adams' second pass of the game. Again, like the first, a dump off. And they're not going to pick up anything on this one, though. Tim Wells stepped up and made the play. A flag is thrown, though, on the snap.
It looks like it's in the area where the now the Eastern Michigan's cheering, so it must be on San Jose State. I should have waited. Usually when the flag is thrown behind and Claude Gilbert wants to know what's going on, it's usually offensive holding.
It's defensive holding called on San Jose State. Very rare penalty on a run play, but the Spartans pick up their 3rd penalty, all coming on defense.
Holding by the defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that, that's not something that's not done a lot. When you stunt a lot, now linemen like to grab two guys and hold them so the guy can loop around him and come free. That's probably what happened. That's why the holding call. You don't get it called very much. That's why so many people do it, especially in pro ball.
Well, Claude Gilbert's almost gotten used to his defense taking a lot of penalties. 5.5 to play. First quarter, they picked up 3 costly penalties on defense. Adams keeps himself on the ball, and he's out across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Phil Frasch again steps up to make the tackle. Adams has a strong arm. We've not seen him throw yet, but he's obviously a very strong runner.
Yeah, penalties have made a big part in this game already, Greg, as you talked about. Just letting them keep the football right there on 3rd down. When you're getting the ball back, you never want to commit a penalty that allow the other team to keep the football, especially with an explosive offense behind you. That defense has got, when 3rd down, they got to get the ball.
Adams, the 3rd leading rusher on the ball club behind Patton and Foster. Here's Patton, and he has the first down to the 44-yard line, running up the middle.
I think this is good strategy by Jim Harkema to put this wishbone in. It's been so good to him all year long inside the 20-yard line, and he also had some film on San Jose State playing against the University of the Pacific. Now, Pacific didn't do that well, but Jim Harkema felt his wishbone was much better as far as the personnel was concerned, and some of the things that they saw on the film they thought they could do against San Jose State today.
The final score was San Jose State 42, Pacific 17, but Harkema and his coaching staff thought that Pacific could not execute very well on their wishbone, and some things were there for them. Here's the pitch to Patton again, running wide, and Kidney strings it out and throws him down inbounds for no gain.
Well, they got what they wanted. That was just a good play by Kidney, good speed. You didn't slow him down. The wishbone is predicated on the inside fake or the first man slowing down the pursuit. That's what makes it work. On a pitch play, defensively, you know, heck, I can sprint to the sideline. I know who's got the ball. But when you're faking and you're delaying your linebackers, it's tougher to get to the outside on a play around the corner. That time, nothing stopped Barry Kidney. He made the play on pursuit.
Gary Patton never been to California before this week, and it was a chilly 40 degrees in Fresno today. Adams on the keeper, breaks some tackles, has the first down, and he fights his way to the 40 of San Jose State. And also, Harkema told both you and I, Stan, yesterday that if it doesn't work, at least Adams is a tough quarterback. He'll make it work.
Well, Harry, look what he does. See the man right there, 49, has the quarterback on the option. All he does is follow his fullback. He uses him as a shield, as a blocker, and cuts up the field before the man with the responsibility for the quarterback on the option can take him. He's waiting for him, but he cuts up in the line before he even get out to him. That's just a good heads-up play, a good read by Ron Adams.
Jay Taylor finally pulled him down, 16-yard pickup. Adams has now rushed 3 times for 33 yards. First and 10 from the Spartan 40. They hand off to Gary Patton, running right, gets the outside. And he's down to the 23-yard line for a 17-yard pickup before Greg Cox shoves him out of bounds. And Patton is obviously pumped up.
Well, this whole Eastern Michigan team is, again, just a simple power handoff. They're just blowing out the line. Watch it. They're blowing these people back. Look at that hole he goes through. He's not even touched. He loves to bounce to the outside. They should know that. Cornerback there's got to stay outside. Grasnick, you see, he's got to play. He's got to stay out there. He's coming up. He's got contained. If he lets him get outside right there, that's what Patton wants, and he took it.
Frasch also helped out Cox. First and 10. They say he's out at the 25-yard line. Here's Chuck Nash, the freshman fullback, for a short gain. That'll bring up a 2nd and 9. What a sensational year for the Eastern Michigan Hurons at 9-2, their best year ever in their football history.
Here's a good play defensively. He's right there, stunt right into the play defensively. But again, you accomplish something on that play. You make them know that you can hand the ball off up the middle, which delays people on the outside plays if they really respect you as far as running inside.
And Eastern Michigan, Stan, is keeping the ball away from the Spartans. This thing's going exactly according to plan. Here's the pitch to Jimmy Johnson. And he's shoved out at the 25-yard line. And Jim Harkema, the head coach of the Eastern Michigan Hurons, is going nuts on the sideline.
Well, he's
he
mad
thought
at
it was
Bob.
a face mask.
No, he's mad at Bob Foster. He's screaming at him. He had exactly what he wanted. He had the pitch man with a blocker in front of him. But Bob Foster didn't make the block. If all he has to do is cut down there. Watch the outside. There's Foster leading Jimmy Johnson around the corner. We see him miss the block right there. He had that man perfect position to make the block. He just didn't make it. Tim Wells made the play, but he should have been blocked easily by Foster.
Well, you're exactly right. Harkema really laid into Foster when he came off the field. 3rd and 10. Clock stops with 2:06 to play. First quarter, we're tied at 7.
There was some confusion on defense, and they called a timeout. Adams saw that. He tried to get the snap off before they could get the timeout because he knew there was confusion.
And the clock was also winding down, so Adams calls our first time out of the ball game with 2:05 to play first quarter. We have played 12 minutes and 55 seconds of this football game, and San Jose State has had it 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So Eastern Michigan, the wishbone is doing it to Claude Gilbert. Spartans keeping the football out of the arms of Perez. But now it's a big 3rd down and 10. They do not go to the wishbone. They bring 2 backs in, one of the slot back, and they have 2 wide receivers, Ziegler and Ostrander, and move Nash in motion. Adams throws. No catch.
Well, look good from here, I'll tell you that. There's a flag down in the field, though, a couple of flags.
Mark Ziegler, the intended receiver, number 83, their top receiver with 24 this year.
Let's see if we can see it. Here's the ball. See if we can see it gets his arms under it or not. It's hard to see. We're being blocked out by Jim Taylor, the corner on the play. Maybe this angle we'll be able to see. Just a rollout. Well-executed play against the blitz. He comes away from it. Now, does he get the ball? Looks like a catch to me.
I think it definitely does from that angle. The violation's holding.
Against the offense. I have a roughing the passer.
Ooh.
Against the defense. The penalty's offset. Repeat the down, 3rd down.
Well, once again, the San Jose State defense is their own worst enemy.
Yeah, you don't see too many roughing the passer penalties called, number 1 in college and number 2 on a rollout with a rollout quarterback that can run the football.
Well, 3rd and 10 comes again.
Wishbone.
They have picked up 80 of their 85 yards the Hurons have on the ground. Play action on the wishbone. It's broken up by Greg Cox.
It was a screen pass. They just tackled the screen man. He never got out there. He kept looking for him, and Adams was being pressured, just had to throw it in the general direction. Luckily, one of the linemen didn't pick it off for San Jose State. It was a middle screen.
Well, the closest guy to catching the ball for the Hurons was Jim Colissimo, the junior guard. So now we have a field goal attempt coming up, 42 yards for Tim Hennigan, who takes them all inside the 50. And he's had a great year, as you see there. He's made 9 of 10. And as long this year, 41 yards out of the hole of quarterback Adams. It's long enough. It's right down the middle. So Eastern Michigan has scored on their first 2 possessions. 42-yard field goal puts them up by 3 with 1:51 to play in the first quarter. Well, the past 3 years, the California Bowl has been dominated by the PCAA. Last year, the Spartans beat Miami of Ohio 37-7. The year before that, Fresno State buried Bowling Green 51-7. The year before that, Nevada, Las Vegas over Toledo 30-13 stand. But early in this game, Eastern Michigan has the upper hand. They look solid.
Well, they've kept the football, and that's what they want to do. Now they'll see it's the defense's turn now. They didn't do too good to let in the score in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. They got to pick it up.
John Love will kick off again. But again, he goes very short. Donald Stewart's second return from his 15. And he's hit in the open field by Anthony Johnson, a freshman linebacker.
And I tell you what, it's a good thing Anthony Johnson made the tackle. There's a huge hole in the middle of this special teams unit, but he just can't get to it. Anthony Johnson came down untouched and made the play. You can see this hole right here. He just goes right between. Geez, somebody, they're going to get yelled at there. You cannot let people run between the wedge. That's the wedge's responsibility. You're better off having 2 on one guy than nobody.
And the reason the Hurons are kicking short, James Saxon, the 10th best kick returner in the country. Here's Mike Perez, flushed. And for the 14th time this year, he is sacked. Mike Burns in there along with Bronco Vincing.
Just good coverage this time. The linebacker stayed back. It's a good same play action out of eye. He's looking over the middle. Just can't get there. Eric Miller's the first man to put pressure on. Vincent cleans up on him. I tell you what, only 14 sacks now this year. But a lot of it, and I've watched some film on him, is because Mike Perez is strong. He avoids the rush. Yeah. He's completed 2 passes left-handed while they're hanging on his side.
Oh, that bench presses stand 350 pounds. They flare to Saxon right side. He dodges a couple of people and gets back to the line of scrimmage. But still, that'll bring up a 3rd down and 14.
Harkham is like a cheerleader on the sideline. That guy is, he gets more excited than any of the players do. He's jumping up and down. This is a big play defensively. You got him in 3rd and long. You drop back now 9-10 yards. Let it catch in front of you. Go up and make the tackle. Harkham has said the key to this game will be how many yards they make after they catch the ball. We're going to give them the stuff in front of us, but if we can go up and make the tackle on them, then we think we can at least slow them down.
Well, Jim Harkham wouldn't be a human being if he's not jumping around inside now. What a performance by his team early. Price over the middle, throws complete to William McLeod, but he is short of the 1st down. Well short.
Yep.
Coverage there by the linebacker Keith Bertram to drop back. So the Spartans stall on their 2nd series, and that should be maybe the last play of the quarter. We have 9 seconds, 8 seconds. We'll see if Deal will get it off in time. The wind is behind him.
He'd like to get advantage of the wind.
He better hurry up and snap it here too. They didn't do it.
Nope.
Looked like they were potentially rushing out there to get it off with the wind behind him, and then he didn't call hike in time. 1st quarter, very surprisingly, Eastern Michigan leads by 3 after the first 15. The 2 key stats to look at there: Eastern Michigan's rushing total 80, time of possession staggering. Eastern Michigan 11:41 to 4:19. That's one way to slow down Perez. Don't give him the football. Tom Deal into punt.
The best way.
That's the best way. Good defense starts with good offense, right? Deal had a bad year this year. Gets the kick away. Charles Gordon, number 1, lets it bounce, then backs away. And Eastern Michigan's 3rd possession will begin at about their 36-yard line, following a 35-yard punt from Deal. Last year, he averaged almost 41 a kick, 2nd team all PCAA. This year, he had the worst average in the conference at 38.5.
You know, Greg, San Jose State's ranked 3rd in the country against the run. But I think that's a deceptive statistic, because when you're 10-1, obviously you've been ahead most of the time in the 3rd and 4th quarters, and the other team's got to throw the football. They got to go to the air. So obviously your stats on the ground are going to be favorable.
And a couple of teams ran well. UNLV, almost 200 yards rushing, and Stanford with Brad Mustard, 185 yards. 1st and 10 for the Eastern Michigan Hurons at their 36. Here's Gary Patton, and he picks up good yardage out to the 43-yard line before, again, Greg Cox, a senior, rover back from Columbus, Ohio, puts him down.
Another key, they're missing their middle guard. They're all PCAA 1st-team middle guard, Larry Sanston. He's missed the last 2 games with a foot injury and is not ready for the California Bowl. Stephen Guthrie is in there in his place, and you know that's obviously a very key position to stop the run.
Here's Jimmy Johnson, and making the tackle there is Richard Johnson, reserve left tackle behind Hutcherson. He's a junior from San Jose. That'll bring up a 3rd down for Eastern Michigan.
Big play defensively. They held them to no gain. They got to get a few of those plays. They can't keep giving them positive yardage every play. If you give them 3-4 yards, they'll keep on doing what they've been doing. That's just keep the football away from you. Defensively, they may be gambling right here just to try to get that football.
Eastern Michigan has picked up 1 of their first 2 third-down conversions on their own. They've also been aided by penalty. He's going to pitch. Patton pulls it down, has the corner, and he has the 1st down.
I don't know.
At the 47, he's going to be close. I believe he had it. See where they spot it.
Yeah, where he spots it, they do have it. Watch this block on the sideline here. Jimmy Johnson, watch the block that he makes. If we can see it here, he just spins the guy up in the air. There it is. He lands on his face. You talk about face blocks. That's one where the defender gets his face in the grass. That's what he wanted before. That's why he was yelling at Bob Foster, which is probably why Jimmy Johnson's in there leading that play this time.
Jimmy Johnson is the brother of Anthony Johnson, the outside linebacker.
He's also played fullback quite a bit this year, which means he's worked on his blocking.
He's only 201. He's a junior. He's behind Adams with Patton, and the up man of the bone is Nash. They throw it to Johnson on the pitch. Great block there by Patton to spill Cox. And they pick up good yardage again on first down.
And that is a good block by Patton. He put his man on the ground. They're blocking well for each other. That's a tough play defensively. You're out in the open field with a man. He's got everything on you. He just flips him right up in the air, makes the block, and gives Jimmy Johnson 4 or 5 yards on the play.
Johnson now 3 carries, 24 yards, and we have not seen Bob Foster come back into the game since Harkema rather loudly pulled him off the field for missing a block.
Well, one thing about the wishbone, you get to carry the ball, but you better block when the other guy's carrying it.
2nd and 6. One of the interior people for Eastern Michigan jumped off sides. I believe it was Evan Hicks, and he's hard to miss at 325, number 71.
He had everybody jumping. He went with a long count. And sometimes you fool your own people, see? He went with a long count. You see the hard count? You could see his shoulder and his head move. And sometimes if you can actually draw up your own men at times. I think that's what he did to Evans Hicks. And also Mark Ziegler, the wide receiver, even went off sides.
Evans Hicks reported to camp this year at 337 pounds. He got down to 325 where he's playing at now. Good blocker, though. 2nd team All-MAC. And he is an outstanding run blocker, the best run blocker they have on the team, on the line.
Well, all he's got to do is get in the way. It's a long time to go around him.
2nd down of 11 now. 2nd penalty against Eastern Michigan. Adams on the keeper. He's hit hard by Cox. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Greg Cox. He calls himself the body rocker. Greg C. Status. He is an intense player, certainly high on his ability.
Oh, watch this hit right there. If you can make hits like that, you can be the whatever. You pick any name you want if you can make hits like that. Greg Cox, a big, strong safety or a small linebacker, sort of in between, 6 foot 216. Yeah. But he's also listed as a backup linebacker, so he's a guy that can go in the secondary or the linebacker position.
Body rocker, Greg C. Status. The status means that someday he will amount to something big. He already has. Maybe the NFL. There's a 3rd down play. Adams is not going to pick it up.
I tell you what, they were very lucky there. If they don't make that tackle, they're blitzing and playing man-to-man defense. All the rest of the players were downfield covering people. This is where Adams is dangerous. If he busts through here, if he can break through, if Patton would have just turned around and blocked somebody, he may have been able to break through there, and everybody else was run off with their men in coverage.
Yepi Pa'u, Tim Wells, Richard Johnson, all combined on the tackle. First time of the ball game, we'll see Ron Bonitis out of Hamilton, Canada. They have 4 players on Eastern Michigan's club from Canada, 3 from Hamilton. He's having a good year, about 38 yards a kick. This one goes nowhere. He flubbed it. It'll mount to the 25. They back away. Takes a roll. They'll hit one of the Spartans, apparently. Free ball. And the Hurons have it. What a break there for the Hurons. It glanced off the field and just grazed one of the San Jose State back people.
You usually have a call. They usually have a call telling them to stay away from the football. Watch it bounce right, hits the blocker right there on the leg, on the side of the leg. And Eastern Michigan came down and made the recovery, got the football. They're down to 12-yard line. Another big break for Eastern Michigan. That man back has to yell and warn those blockers because they can't be looking up for the football. He's got to make a call. Fire or something like that. A lot of teams use. It means just stay away from the football. Look up. Get off the field.
Jim Colissimo right there recovered the fumble. It appeared to just touch Ryan Rasnick's leg. Everything's going Eastern Michigan's way early. They're up 10-7. 10:55 to play. They run wide with Patton trying to turn the corner. Now he cuts back, and he's nailed a face mask penalty, though, on, I believe, Chris Alexander. As Patton was starting to go the other way, and Alexander just grabbed his face mask.
Well, this is what Patton likes to do when they play this well defensively. If you watched any film on this guy at all, and I'm sure obviously their defense has, he loves to go inside like that, draw you in, and bounce outside. Now, Barry Kidney stayed outside. He had contained, forced him back, but right there, face mask, Chris Alexander, and trying to make the tackle, got him by the face mask. Really, I think it's going to end up almost back to the same spot that it was, and whether they call it 5 or 15 yards may have a difference. Whether it's incidental or it's flagrant.
Eugene Wirtz right now in conference with his officials again from the WAC conference. And we'll see what Mr. Wirtz has diagnosed.
We have a clipping against the defense. Half the distance from the previous spot. First down.
What? Well, that was, we saw very obviously the face mask. We didn't see any clip, and you don't see that very often on defense, Stan.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard a clipping called against the. We've had holding on the defense, clipping on. Maybe these guys are confused. I don't know, and figure out which team's on offense and defense out here. I tell you what, there was obviously a face mask, so I don't know how they could not call that. Yeah, you're allowed to do that defensively. You can push an offensive man out of the way. You're allowed to push him in the back to get him out of your way. He's trying to block you.
You pick up 1,000 yards in penalties during the year. You pick up a few nobody's ever heard of. Defensive clipping. First and goal for the Hurons at the 6. There's Patton. And he's inside the 5.
Well, they say that Mike Perez is so strong that he got called for roughing the rusher at one time.
Last year he did it.
So if they can call that, I guess they can call it clipping on the defense. I've never heard it, never seen it called in my life, and you know, I've been in the game over 20 years.
Now, Perez last year hit Mark Ledbetter of Washington State. He's 6'3", 251. But Perez is strong. I spoke about it before. He got benches 350, his own weight, 210, 18 times. But he has not been a factor in the ball game because Harkema and the Hurons with the wishbone have kept the football for themselves. There's a pitch to Jimmy Johnson. He breaks the tackle, then the flag goes down, and he goes down to about the 3-yard line.
That was on the outside men, I think, the cornerback and the split man. We'll see if whether it was holding on one or the other out there. Is this just the power pitch? This time it's a pitch instead of a handoff, but it's basically the same play, off tackle with the 2 backs leading. They're calling it on Eastern Michigan.
It is offensive holding against the Hurons. That'll drop them back, of course, 10 yards. But what a year. We spoke about it before. For Eastern Michigan at 9-2 and 7-1 in the MAC. They won it. Predicted to finish 3rd this year in their conference.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And Stan, they never had a year better than 4 wins in the MAC. And this year they go 7-1, and they won most of them on the road.
Well, not only that, this is a program that lost 27 in a row in the early 80s, and was they almost kicked them out of the MAC. Yep. Then another in 84, and now just 3-4 years later, they're in the Cal Bowl, representatives of the championship of the MAC. So this, Jim Harkema has done a great job since coming from Grand Valley State.
When he took over the previous 5 years, they had lost 42 of 46. Here's a pass. Patton's going to the quarterback, Adams. He's got it, and he is in or no? He's out at the 1-yard line. What a sensational play and a very difficult pass made by Patton across the field. The Spartans were not entirely fooled on the play. Adams got rung pretty hard.
Well, he's tried that pass earlier. He tried on a 2-point conversion. It was stopped, but he's thrown a couple passes earlier this year, one on a 2-point conversion and a touchdown last in 86. He's real close to being in, but you got to see where the football is. Again, they were one way. In college, this is a legal play. In pro football, it wouldn't be. See right here, where's the football? That's the key. His foot looked like it was on the line, but the ball was just short of the end zone.
We have a timeout called as Adams has been roughed up. 9:27 to play. First half. Eastern Michigan 10 and San Jose State 7. Today's California Bowl is being brought to you by the makers of the CFA VCR College Bowl Game. And today here in Fresno, we begin the bowl season with the California Bowl. And we have a new quarterback in. Tom Sullivan is in for this snap only. Adams, of course, left the game The officials call the timeout of this injury. You are forced to sit out for one play. But it's a big play. They have to get the snap. 3rd and 1. 3rd and inches. 3rd and goal. Here's Jimmy Johnson diving. No, he lost a couple. As that Spartan defense really got in there. Barry Kidney made a nice surge.
I think he's going to go for it on 4th down. I see Harkema over there with Ron Adams. You can see Jimmy Johnson trying to go over the top, but they were just surged backwards. The offensive line has got to get some surge on the defense. Watch here, they just got into the backfield, got great penetration. Stephen Guthrie, we talked about the replacement middle guard, he really got his legs.
Yes.
And when he got his legs, that meant that he had no momentum, no force to get into the end zone.
And David Knox hit him high, the junior backer from Stockton. The Hurons have called a timeout here with 9:03 to play in the first half. This obviously being a big decision. Leading 10-7 to the Pairs, they are going to be going for it. And Harkema wants to make sure they call the right play.
Well, they are outside the 1 now. They were the length of the football inside the 1 on the previous down. Now they're about that same length outside the 1-yard line. But heck, it's worth the gamble. I mean, they're in a situation, big underdogs. They have to take gambles to win anyhow. He took a gamble putting in the wishbone offense for this single game. I talked about it with you last night when we went to the Rose Bowl to play Jim Plunkett, who, like Mike Perez, was the leading passer in the country, Heisman Trophy winner. Woody Hayes put in the wishbone offense to try to keep the ball away from Plunkett. We had some great runners, John Brockington and Leo Hayden, both first-round picks in the NFL. Rex Kern was the quarterback. Well, we went out there and unfortunately lost to Plunkett, but it wasn't because of the wishbone. It was because our defense couldn't stop Plunkett.
And the fun part about that, Stan was telling that story to me and Jim Harkema. Harkema was loving the story until you got to the last part and you said, and we lost the game. And we walked away. I don't want to hear any part of this thing. Ron Adams returns at quarterback. Harkema, what a great man he is. 5th year, the head coach here at Eastern Michigan. First year, they went 1-10. Second year, 2-7-2. Third year, 4-7. Last year, 6-5. Their first winning year since '77. And of course, this year, a sensational year, 9-2. And if they win today, it's all gravy, really. But they're playing a great ball game up, 10-7. Now big 4th and 1. They hand off to Foster, and he's in the end zone. Bob Foster was taken off the field for not blocking. He's brought back in, and he scores.
Well, he is the toughest inside runner. We said that in pregame. He's tougher inside than Patton, and that's why he's in there. Really, just a huge hole opened up, and he just walked into the end zone. That right there reminds me of when Alan Amici scored in the greatest game ever played. It was that big a hole. He just sort of walks into the end zone and is not hit till he crosses the goal line.
That's 2 touchdowns for Foster, both coming on his last 2 runs. Now Hennigan for the extra point. And he nailed that baby right down the middle. The flag is down, though, late. Hennigan was creamed.
And so was Adams.
Adams, actually, the holder was really rocked. That's going to be, you would assume, a penalty on the kick.
You may also get somebody thrown out of the game because that smacks of being intentional.
Yes, roughing the kicker, they are saying, or the holder, whoever got hit.
Right.
And that will be assessed on the kickoff when we come back to Fresno, California. We have 9 minutes to play in the first half. The Hurons, who were 17-point underdogs, lead by 10. Well, Eastern Michigan scored the first 2 times they had the football. Their 3rd drive, they were stalled out. They went to punt. And San Jose State had the ball hit them inadvertently, I believe Rasnick, and they recovered right down point blank range, and the Hurons cash in and now lead 17-7. So even when they make mistakes, Stan, things are going right today for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, the Benitis shanked the punt, left-footed punter. He shanked it off the side, and the short punt just hit and bounced directly left and ended up hitting Rasnick, who was blocking a man, and his deep man didn't tell him to get out of the way. You got to have communication on those bad kicks because it almost happened earlier the other way around.
John Lopp to kick off to Blackshear and Saxon in theory, but he has not yet done that. He has kicked it short, but this time will kick off from midfield. He'll actually blasted it, and Stewart again picks it up. And to the 28-yard line he goes. I thought Laup would just nail it, being only at the 50 and being a long kicking specialist. He probably could put it out of the end zone, but he decided not to do that.
Well, not only that, Greg, he kicked it straight ahead. It hit the man 10 yards away. And luckily for San Jose, the ball went where they could recover the football. But that's not a bad play.
No, they're really going for it.
You know, you still got him inside your 30. You got a chance to get the football. A lot of teams automatically onside kick after a 15-yard penalty.
Donshell English made the tackle on Donald Stewart. Perez to throw on first down. As time throws for Kenny Jackson. Anthony Johnson misses the tackle.
But he has help, and he don't get much yardage after he catches the ball. Again, only a gain of about 3 on the play. That's the key, making the man go down without getting a whole lot of yardage after the catch. Linebackers are back. He misses one man, but here's the rest of them coming along. That's good pursuit defensively. Tom Menard, the free safety, finally got up there to make the tackle.
Also Scott Waika, number 98, a linebacker. Perez 5'4", 40 yards passing. 40 yards passing at this stage of the game is nothing to him. There's the handoff to Saxon. He hurdles the 35, and he's pulled down there on a good tackle by Eric Miller, a second-team All-MAC. Last year, this year, honorable mention because he was suspended for the first 4 games this year, tripping up James Saxon.
That's twice they've lined up Guy Liggins in the fullback's position out of the eye, and then put him in motion and ran the sprint draw play off that formation. So maybe we'll see a sprint draw pass and try to get Liggins down the sideline next time we do that.
That was the first time Saxon touched the football, his first carry of the game. There's a 3rd and 3. It is caught for a first down by Kenny Roberts. Or pardon me, Willie McLeod is the man who makes the tackle. Senior, a teammate of Guy Liggins in junior college play.
Well, they wanted to stop Guy Liggins, which is the right play. Just a good throw by Perez. He just gets it over the linebacker's head in between 2 of them. But still, I think that was the play you had to make defensively. You had to take away the short man for the sure first down, gamble that he couldn't complete the ball in between your 3 or 4 defenders, and Perez was just up to the task that time.
Brian Carter was there, Stan, to watch McLeod slip down over the middle. It is not caught, dropped over the middle. As they were going for Guy Liggins, Charles Gordon, along with Jerry Smith on the pass protection, the defense. But that ball was there for Liggins. Ball was a bit underthrown by Mike Perez.
Yeah, it was not his best throw. I think Liggins was wide open on the seam pattern. He just lined up in the slot, went straight down the field. Nobody touched him, and he was able to split both the corner and the free safety. Perez just didn't get him the football.
2nd down and 10. Jackson alone setback behind Perez. He throws. This one is complete to Kenny Roberts. Charles Gordon there on the coverage, but Roberts has enough for the first down.
Well, Perez again smart. They went to some lock-on, some coverage, man-to-man coverage. He's able to pick the man out that's single covered right here. See, Kenny Roberts just goes down and hooks, so he's on Charles Gordon, but he had single coverage. Perez is, that's one thing they say about him. He's really a smart quarterback as well as having the good arm.
Comes it off to Kenny Jackson. Nice open field tackle there. Jim Hefner along with Scott Waika.
Jim Harkman said what they want to do defensively. Now they'll change up and go man every once in a while just to change the reads for Perez, because you can't give him a steady diet, an absolute diet of the same thing. But they want to play a lot of zone, let him catch the ball in front, and if they do score, make them take a lot of time to get their points on the board.
Jackson, the lone setback. He throws upfield and he underthrows Willie McLeod as the ball skipped.
There may have been a hit at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if it was Jim Hefner or somebody, I think, tipped the ball at the line, made the ball go straight down. But that was called the read screen there. You send a guy out in the flat, and you send McLeod for the curl, and you read the linebacker. So they drop back for the curl, you throw it to the screen man. If they come up on the screen, which he did that time, and Perez read it correctly, you throw downfield to McLeod. Unfortunately for him, somebody tipped it.
Eastern Michigan is doing very well offensively. Maybe not a strong surprise, but their defense is really playing San Jose State pretty tough here, which is a major surprise. They're down. Perez throws to Saxon. 3 people around. He drops the football. That's great defense. by the Hurons. Jim Hefner, Scott Wycus surround him with another player also over there. They're really playing a strong defensive football game.
Well, they had a little change up there. Watch Hefner. He's a defensive lineman, but he's playing a spy. Watch him drop off here. See him in the middle? He's looking for somebody underneath. And you're right, 3 men right there. They know on 3rd down, and they're going to try to just dump the ball and run for the 1st down. A good defensive philosophy by Eastern Michigan.
San Jose State's going for it here on 4th down because of the field position. 38-yard line. It would take a good punt to get him inside the 10 or so. Why not go? Perez throws upfield. Caught by Liggins. 1st down inside the 20, 19-yard line. Tom Menard there on the coverage, but it was late as Guy Liggins on a crossing pattern makes the play and spins it upfield and picks up the 1st.
There's one guy you're going to pick out 4th down to cover. Who's it going to be? It's going to be this guy right here. Menard had him, but he got faked out. He was looking for the outside cut. But I wouldn't put 1 man on him on 4th down and 8, that's for sure. If I was going to double team and they were playing man there, anybody, it would be that slot back, Guy Liggins.
Guy Liggins has set virtually every receiving record possible in Spartan history. Hurons are pointing at Mike Bernard, saying he jumped off sides.
And he did. He rocked forward. He can't do that.
See if the officials saw it, Stan.
Well, I'm sure they did. If they didn't, there's something wrong.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
They saw it.
Still 1st down.
See him right here. See it go forward. You can't do that. First of all, you can't have 2 men in motion at the same time. But of course, that is not in play until the ball is snapped. But right there, once you get in that 3-point stance as an offensive lineman, you cannot move.
Mike Bernard, the man who did it, has started every game since the 2nd game of '85. He had a string of 2,230 consecutive snaps broken this year. He's like the Cal Ripken Jr. of college football. Liggins in motion. Hand off to, play action.
Watch Liggins.
Perez throws for Liggins behind Liggins.
That's one of their favorite plays. They call it the trap pass. Just another way of running the same pattern. They clear out with a wide receiver. They bring Liggins down into the vacated area, downfield about 15 yards near the sideline. On that play, Perez rolls out and tries to hit him, but he threw it behind him.
Guy Liggins last year caught 80 passes, 6th best in the nation. This year he caught 77, 2nd best, but he had 1,208 yards receiving, the most in college football. Perez and Liggins were roommates this week in the Cal Bowl, and Liggins has come a long way. Used to be a non-practice player, a lazy player in the opinion of Claude Gilbert, but he's become a great talent. They flare out to Kenny Roberts. Deeks 1 man. He may go. Up that sideline. He's not in. He stepped out of bounds, but he's inside the 5-yard line.
A good play. They send Liggins in motion one way, try to get the defense to overreact that way, fake to hold the linebackers, then hit Kenny Roberts right there. But 2 missed tackles. Really, they were there to make the play, and 2 guys went outside. Now, that was the problem.
Right there.
Yeah, that was the problem of the inside guy. He knows Charles Gordon's out there. He's got to play him inside out. Anthony Johnson, the linebacker's got to play inside out because he knows the corner's out there supporting him. When he got outside, you had 2 men out and nobody coming from the inside.
Kenny Roberts goes 22 yards on the catch and run. Now to hand off to Kenny Jackson, and he's down to the 2-yard line before Eric Miller makes that tackle.
Again, though, the key play in this drive, that was one of them, but at 4th down and 7 when Liggins, they tried to single cover Liggins with the free safety, Tom Menard, and that's not going to work very often.
Mike Perez, one of 7 finalists for the Davy O'Brien Award, which will go to the nation's top quarterback. February the 15th, it'll be announced. He is generally thought, along with Kerwin Bell from Florida, Todd Santis of San Diego State, and Chris Chandler of Washington. One of those 4 guys will go #1 in the NFL draft. Liggins moves in motion. They pitch to Kenny Jackson. He gets nothing. He is hit head-on by an aggressive swarming Huron defense.
Jim Hefner, I tell you what, this is where he makes big plays down here. The guy's only 5'9" and 228. He plays defensive line, but watch, he can hit people. He can hit people.
There he is, number
Hefner
77.
got the leg, and the man behind him, Scott Wycka, hits him up top. But it was the guy who got his legs out from under him that allowed Wycka to clean up.
Wycka's a sophomore from Dearborn, Michigan. Hefner, the most valuable defensive player, voted by his teammates. Here's a big couple of plays coming up, 3rd and goal. 4:08 to play in the half. And he didn't make it. Kenny Jackson lowered his head and was popped again. by that Huron defense.
That was the power eye, and they had a guard in the backfield, Mark Frederick, number 64, lined up as the other halfback, and they went right towards him. He makes a good block. He kicks out right there, but Kenny Jackson gets just swamped when he goes back to the inside. That time it was Scott Jurek, number 39, a reserve linebacker who had to play a lot, but watch this hit. That's picture perfect right between the numbers. That's the only way you can stop somebody at the goal line, is to hit them between the numbers and stop all their forward progress.
That's a huge hit by Jurek, a junior out of Plymouth, Michigan, who already this year started 5 ball games. And now we are into 4-down territory again. At least San Jose State is deliberating whether they want to go for an Olivares field goal or go for it on 4th, and they're going for it on 4th down.
Eastern Michigan scored on 4th down for their last touchdown. Now we can see if San Jose can match it.
2 wide receivers, Stewart and Jackson. They pitch to Jackson. He turns the corner, and he is not in. He is shoved out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
And the guy who stopped it was Bronco Vincic. He did not make the tackle, but he got a hold of his jersey and slowed him down for the rest of the pursuit to catch up. Watch Vincic on the outside. A good play, the option right there. Just got the arm, got the jersey, slowed him down. And Scott Jurek and the rest of the inside men forced him out of bounds, and that's a giant play.
San Jose State had a 1st and goal from the 4. They don't go in. 3:32 to play first half. The Hurons still up by 10. Last time Eastern Michigan played at the bowl game was 1971, the Pioneer Bowl, which is no longer obviously in existence. It was based in Wichita Falls, Texas. They lost to Louisiana Tech 14-3, and that was a Division II appearance. It's been a long time, but they've made up for it with a tremendously strong first half showing, leading the heavily favored San Jose State Spartans by 10. But up against it to begin this series, Adams goes headlong to about the 4-yard line, just trying to give his team some breathing room here. What a great defensive sequence again. Now that last sequence is the Spartans could not get in.
Well, this is just a quarterback sneak to give themselves a little bit of room to operate. They do not want to get a safety, and already San Jose State's using their timeouts with 3.5 minutes left to get the football back with some time for Perez.
They're not content going in down by 10, obviously. Alongside Stan White, Greg Papa, back at Bulldog Stadium, the home of the Fresno State Bulldogs of the PCAA.
Well, they're getting single coverage on the outside man right here, Greg. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little gamble here by Harkema.
Well, Adams has thrown once.
On balance line to the right.
They blitz, and Adams is knocked down at the goal line. They came strong that time with Greg Cox. The Rover back really went at him, and he was very close to getting him in the end zone.
They went unbalanced right. We're going back left, but you talk about perfect timing. Cox got through the gap, and there was nobody there to pick him up. They're back at the 1-yard line.
The body rocker rocks Adams.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was all in the timing there. He went right as the ball was being snapped. They went unbalanced right and tried to go back to the short side. Like another timeout by San Jose State.
They want the football back. It's going to be a 3rd and 10 right now with 3:11 to play. A first half really impressively played by Eastern Michigan as Claude Gilbert talks to his defensive captain, senior Barry Kidney. And the Spartans are going to lose a lot of their top people. 31 of their seniors graduate this year. He'll lose 9 offensive people and 6 defensive people. Claude Gilbert will also Eastern Michigan, a very senior-oriented team.
Well, that's usually the winning teams are, because you win with experience, you win with players that have been around you for a while. But tell you right here, this is a big play. They would like to keep the football away. And big plays have been the story of this football game. You go back 4th and 1, both of them had on the 1-yard line. Eastern Michigan scores, San Jose State doesn't. You know, that's a 14-point swing right there. And the score is 17-7. So those are the huge plays in the first half.
Last time you wanted them to pass, now what do you think?
I'd say go up again. It's still unbalanced to the right.
Yeah, but they're coming heavy with a blitz. They hand off to Foster, and he just does get out of the end zone.
That's why you should pass.
Well, they come with the blitz on 3rd and 10 very heavily again.
But just, you know, when you're blitzing down there, tell you what, you get a lot of penetration. You can see him get through there. You're going to hit him in the end zone. He just barely bowls his way this time out of the end zone rather than into the end zone.
Let me take it back. That was not Bob Foster. It was Gary Patton, number 34. As Cox again was blowing in there along with Epi.
That was close. His knee was down the end zone before he got the ball out. Lucky they didn't call the safety.
Benitez will punt, and Wells drops deep. They have 9 men in the line. They'll go for a return here, obviously, though. Benitez gets it away. Scott Wells from the 38. 30. And he's down at the 26-yard line. Good open field tackle there made by Tom Kiefer. So San Jose State with 2:18 to play will begin with glorious field position. Well, the mighty San Jose State offense takes over at the 25-yard line. Number 1 passing team in the country, number 5 overall total yardage, number 6 scoring. They've been held to 1 touchdown. They're down 10. Perez to throw. He goes to James Saxon. Great block. And he's out inside the 10-yard line. A sensational block by the tight end, Bill Klump. Sprung him for about 10 more. 16-yard pickup.
Well, Eastern Michigan came with a blitz, and nobody took Saxon out of the backfield. You can see the linebackers come. Jurek loses him. He has him, but he doesn't take him. You can see he's out here covering the tight end, Menard. He just gets knocked down right there, and Saxon just goes around him.
I give Klump credit for a great block. It was a slip. They both went down. He didn't do anything, but it worked. Big inside handoff. Perez rolls right. He has Saxon. He waited, and now he's in trouble, but he stays up. Flag down. Now he fires. Caught. That is James Saxon at the 4-yard line. They grabbed Perez's face mask.
And Mike Burns got up celebrating, thought he had sacked him right here. Watch there. Right there's the face mask. He spins it. That is. Now watch him get up thinking he sacked him. Perez is still running around. And talk about being strong. He finally gets the ball down to Saxon inside the 5.
Well, with the new in the grasp rule, I'm surprised they didn't call that.
Well, that's just in pro ball, luckily for Mike Perez.
And really, Burns didn't just grab his face mask. He almost ripped Perez's head off.
That's a tack-on penalty.
Against the defense, still first down, half the distance.
What do we mean by that? The play went to the 4. They take it half the distance from the 4 and give the Spartans a 1st and goal from the 2. But they were down here last series. Ran Kenny Jackson 4 straight times, and 4 straight times he didn't get anything. 1:58 to play in the first half. Perez going to throw this time, and it's almost pulled down by Guy Liggins. Perez overthrew him. Ball, I believe, was also tipped.
And again, they're talking to each other. Nobody picked up Liggins. He's wide open. Nobody took him. Well, watch him out here all free in the end zone. The ball just thrown a little high. He tried to loft it over the defender. Almost a great one-handed catch, but it falls incomplete. And you have to say, hey, we didn't make it 4 times running. Now we might as well try a pass on 1st down. But I tell you what, I'd expect him to come back and just try to ram the ball into the end zone.
James Saxon brings the play in. Mike Perez only 130 yards passing. They average 338 a game. Liggins in motion. Here's Kenny Jackson dodging, and he's down close but not in.
Tell you what, that's a strange call down there, a delayed draw play, because you know they're blitzing and know you're going to get penetration. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage that he did. He may even got a little yardage out of it, but this is the type that can really be thrown for a loss. You see everybody coming. Ball's a deep handoff. He's lucky to get back, and he did get a yard out of it, but that's a strange play.
Last 5 times Jackson has carried inside the 5. He's picked up 2 yards. They have 2 receivers and 2 backs. Stewart and Saxon. Saxon to pass, wide open, touchdown! Bill Klump, the tight end. James Saxon was a quarterback in high school, and he has now completed 5 passes as a halfback on the option, all 5 for touchdowns.
You're right. 2 this year, now 3, 2 last year. So he's got 5 touchdowns. That's a real easy one there. But I tell you what, it tells you one thing. San Jose State doesn't think they could score on the ground. They had to go to trick plays to score.
Lefty quarterback fools him. Each team has now completed a halfback pass. Olivares for the extra point. He's got it with 1:20 to play. It is now 17-14. for Eastern Michigan, as we'll take one more look at the touchdown pass from Saxon to Bill Klump.
The Klump just hits and blocks and then falls off late and is wide open in the end zone. That's an easy play to execute down there, because everybody's coming after the running back on a running situation.
Well, Eastern Michigan had to think something was up. Saxon is not lined up in the tail of the eye the entire ball game. They've run Jackson out of the tail exclusively, Stan, but one time they do, they obviously had something up their sleeves.
Well, the other thing, though, you got to remember is Saxon's played tailback quite a bit this year, but Kenny Jackson is more of a power runner than Saxon is, and if you think they're going to give it to somebody down there, and which they have, I mean, 5 straight times, they give it to Kenny Jackson. Maybe that's what they were feeling. Heck, we already stopped this guy. Maybe they're putting somebody else in to give him a shot.
Claude Gilbert, last 2 years, PCAA Coach of the Year. Last year's team won 10, lost 2. And this year, they've won 10 and lost 1. They came on with an 8-game winning streak. The 1 week they lost this year was week 3 at Oregon State by 2. If they don't lose that ball game, they come in with a 20-game win streak. They have won 19 of their last 20. And Claude Gilbert's been outspokenly upset with the fact his team has not been ranked in the top 20 by either wire service all year. Right now, they're number 20 by the Sporting News. He thinks if they would have won that Oregon State game, Stan, they'd be number 15 in the country right now, or thereabouts. Oliveira's to kick off. It is taken near sideline. That's Glenard Smith. Or no, it's not. That's Stroitsanis out across the 30, flag down. And now we have some late hitting.
Yeah, little tempers are starting to flare. You know, Stoitsiadis is a pretty good runner. He stole a ball from a ball carrier against IU and returned what they call a fumble then, because he picked the guy's pocket for 83 yards. So once he gets the football, he knows what to do with it. Got a face mask on San Jose State, so that's gonna. We'll see whether it's a 5-yard.
5-yard face mask against the kicking team. First down.
They just hit Gary Patton in the face. See, another face mask. That's we've had quite a few face masks today. Quite a few of those penalties. Now, what does Eastern Michigan do? Are they satisfied with 1:15 to go in with a 3-point lead? I'd say at least 3 of those are face mask penalties, too. 5 on San Jose State, 4 on Eastern Michigan.
I don't know what I'd do if I'm Harcum in this situation. His team's obviously played a strong half. They do not go to the wishbone, and they employ 2 wide receivers. So we'll see what he does. Nash and Patton behind Adams. 1:15 to play. They're going to run out of the late draw to Patton, and he has a big hole. He's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Now they can throw the ball.
Now they're in great position. Now they will throw the ball. You can see this is just the draw play. The sprint draw play. Good call. They catch him in the blitz, and the linebacker just runs right by the back, coming out of the backfield, Gary Patton. You gotta, when you're blitzing, you gotta keep your eyes open. You gotta see what's happening in front of you. The linebacker just went too quick on that one, trying to make the big sack. He ended up opening the floodgates for Gary Patton.
That play right there dictates what they do. If they don't get anything on the play, they probably lay down and go into the half up by 3. They got
reverse.
Something. Now a reverse to Benzinger. And the Spartans have it hemmed in, but he finds a crack, and he stepped out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds at the 41-yard line, Benzinger did, as the Spartans forced it near the sideline and gave him no room. That's Dan Benzinger, a freshman receiver, on the reverse.
It's strange when a guy has, this is his 8th run of the year. He's only caught 4 passes, so he's run the reverse time and time again. He's a sprinter on the track team. And you'll see him just step out right here. He just about gets around there, but now we see 3 or 4 times he hits that line. But I tell you what, they almost caught San Jose State thinking he was going to go out of bounds. A lot of times you'll do that. You assume he's out of bounds, and the guy tight ropes it and makes yardage.
And Benzinger didn't need to step out of bounds. There was nobody there to pressure him. He's also a member of the Huron track team, so he could have gone. 59 seconds to play. Pau showing blitz. Here he comes. They draw right over the hole he left. Patton picks up not much.
Tell you what, if he could have made a quick cut to his right, though, he'd have been down into inside the 20-yard line. For some reason, he didn't make the cut. He went right into the defensive man who had his man set up and blocked.
Ryan Rasnick made the tackle. Eastern Michigan calls a timeout. They now have 1 timeout left. The Spartans used all of theirs on defense earlier. 52 seconds to play. 17-14 Eastern Michigan out of the Mid-American Conference, leading the PCAA's San Jose State Spartans. And we've been talking about how this game is big for the Hurons, obviously. It's also big for the MAC. They have not done well in this bowl game at all. And there's been some talk about the PCAA saying so long to this bowl game and not going up against the MAC, and because they've won by some big numbers the last 3 years, Stan.
Yeah, again, you're reading my mind. I was just sitting there thinking here, looking out the MAC and the PCAA written on the field at the respective 10-yard lines, how the MAC has been blown out, and there's newspaper articles written. I come from that part of the country, the Midwest, and in Ohio, where a lot of these schools are located. Right. And there's been articles like that saying, how long will this bowl stick with the MAC if they can't remain competitive? Well, I'll tell you what, Eastern Michigan is competitive with one of the top 20 teams in the country today.
Saw a graphic there on San Jose State's great year, 10-1 and 7-0 in the PCAA. They were 7-0 last year in the PCAA. Mike Perez never lost a game in this conference. 19-3 overall with him as their starter, but they're down 3 with 52 to play in the first half. 3rd and 3. Here's Gary Patton on a swing pass, and he's going to lose yardage. Now it's 4th down. Barry Kidney, senior linebacker from Chino, California, the Spartan top tackler, coming into the game with 99. Saw to it that Patton didn't get much.
Yeah, they had that well covered. They put in a tight end, Rob Fogarty, a backup tight end, as a split receiver on that side. He just came down and cracked back and crushed the outside linebacker on that side. But I would imagine the rest of the defense read that extra tight end being in the game for blocking purposes.
San Jose State is out of timeouts. 13 seconds to play, and this will run out the first half.
Unless they call a timeout and let Lopp kick a long field goal.
That's probably what they're doing. They're waiting now. Harkema calls a timeout. The ball is on the 43-yard line. If they want a field goal here, this will be 60 yards. Now, I am told this guy in practice made one from 70 yards. His long this year, 51 yards. He has made only 1 of 6, and they use Lopp only when the field goal is in length of 50 or more yards.
Well, he could kick them plus 50 in the spring. He kicked a 51-yard. That one that he did make was 51 yards. And in the spring game this past year, he kicked 3 for 3. One of them from 50, another one from 46. So he's got the leg, and he's got a little bit of breeze behind him. Not much, but he's going the right direction. But 60 yards is a long way to boot it, even with that tee.
Well, certainly, Harkema figures, what the heck? Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that can happen is they block the kick and go all the way in, which is pretty bad. What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah, I guess that would be pretty bad, wouldn't it?
John Saunders is standing by. Back in our studios, he'll be with you at halftime in a moment. But first, Lopp from 60 out of the hands of Adams. Lopp only a freshman. Short. That's going to be well short. He won't even make the end zone. That lands at the 3-yard line, and that ends the first half of play. And we have lined up for you a good second half. The Hurons certainly played a very strong first half. They lead the favored Spartans by 3 at halftime. Now, as I promised, John Saunders in the studios.
And we would not want to break a promise. Here we are, 17-14 is your score. The Hurons with the lead at the half. Back to the California Bowl in just a moment. But at halftime, first of all.
Been a great week for Eastern Michigan, and even a better opening half as they lead by 3 at 17-14. Greg Pop alongside Stan White back in Fresno, California. You have to say, Stan, that Coach Harkema's game plan has worked to perfection in the first half.
You couldn't ask for anything more. I'm sure he wishes he still had that 10-point lead he had earlier before the final score by San Jose State. But it's worked. He's kept the football away from San Jose and Mike Perez, and he's got to be happy. And I'm sure the kids are saying, hey, at least we can know we can play with these guys. As Bob Foster scores the first touchdown, that was set up by a great punt return.
And San Jose State came right back. Kenny Jackson scored from 6 yards out, tied the ball game at 7. Following a Hennigan field goal from 42, Bob Foster scored from a yard out. And late, James Saxon tossed on the halfback option to Bill Klump, and that made it 17-14. So that late touchdown you just saw scored there on the pass from Saxon to Klump has San Jose State within 3. But time of possession, the big stat there, 19-13 for Eastern Michigan, and the Spartans just over 10 and a half, and the yards rushing. Eastern Michigan, 128.
That's exactly. Those are the two stats that Jim Harkema felt he had to win the football game. 2-1 in time of possession, and being able to run the football to control it.
All right, we should have a good second half. We'll kick it off in a moment. From high atop Bulldog Stadium, Greg Papa and Stan White are set to begin. We're set to watch. They're set to begin.
Yeah, we're just going to be up here enjoying it.
And it has become very dark in Fresno, California. Most of the folks you see have not come back to their seats because they're probably getting some hot chocolate or hot coffee or something. The temperature again 40 degrees, and the sun that was out in brilliance in the first half, Stan, has kind of dipped down. We're in Fresno, California, and it feels like we're in Ypsilanti, Michigan, the home of the Hurons.
That's right. Yeah, this is Eastern Michigan weather right here. They got to be feeling they're going to have an advantage here. And, you know, one thing that they go in at halftime, these players right now are saying, hey, these guys aren't that good. We can beat these guys. Yeah, Eastern Michigan go in and say about San Jose State, you know, they're 10-1. They beat the Pac-10 schools. They're ranked 20th in the country. But tell you what, we can play with them. Yeah. We can beat these guys.
And there was a lot of talk from the Huron people about just how cocky the San Jose State people are, in particular Greg Cox. We spoke about it earlier, but the whole Spartan team has that kind of Raider renegade attitude that really got this Huron team pumped. John Lupp will kick off to begin the third quarter, and he does so very, very short, trying to keep it out of the arms of Saxon, but he can't do it. Saxon picks it up, and he's out across the 35, and he spilled it about the 36-yard line, where Perez and the Spartans begin. 1st and 10. Saxon again, the 10th best kick returner in the nation at better than 25 a return, and they have tried to keep it away from him. And Claude Gilbert said when they kick off to begin the third quarter, Stewart back away, Saxon run up there and grab it, and they did, and they have very good field position.
All those short kicks, they've had good field position each time.
Perez in the first half, 11 of 17 for 133 yards. The handoff on first down up the middle. It goes, and the tackle made by Phil Seletka, a senior. No gain on the run there by Kenny Jackson.
I tell you what, they've been able to stop that running attack of Kenny Jackson. I think the last 6 carries now, he's got about 2 yards. So, you know, they've been shutting that down. Now they got Saxon as a single back.
Overall for the ball game, he is now 10 for 38 yards, and 34 of them came in the first series. Perez to throw, and he overfires Guy Liggins there. Keith Bertram, the linebacker, dropped back in coverage. Perez now is 11 of 18. Again, only 133 yards passing. The guy averages better than 338 a ball game.
Well, that was one of the few bad decisions he made. He was determined to get the ball to Liggins on that play, despite the good coverage. He had Saxon, who caught 61 balls his own on his own this year, and if he could just dumped off to him, he'd had some positive yardage.
Saxon goes off the field. Jackson the lone setback, 3 wide receivers. Liggins moves in motion, joins Johnny Johnson. Near sideline, Perez throws to Kenny Jackson. 40, needs the 46 for the first down. And he's close, but I believe he's shoved out short. They'll mark him down at about the 44.5-yard line. Good play there by Charles Gordon, number 1, the corner to step up and push him out.
Well, they're going to punt the football, but this is the one thing that Harcum is afraid of. The Eastern Michigan coach is the yardage he makes after he catches it. Misses 1, misses 2 tackles right there. And the 3rd and 4th man get him down. But you have to be able to stop that in order to stop this San Jose State team.
Tom Deal punted once in the first half. It went 35 yards. Here's number 2. End over end, get a bound, take a San Jose State roll. Gordon picks it up, and a face masking penalty is called immediately on Yepi Pa'u'u.
Another one. That's about 4 or maybe 5 that we've had today. So I don't know what it is that starts this whole thing going on face mask penalties, but they're coming in rashes.
And I talked about how the Spartans liken themselves to the Raiders of the NFL, and like the Raiders, they pick up a lot of penalties on defense.
Well, they're calling this one 15 yards too, so it's not your normal 5-yard one.
So it goes from the 25 to the 40, where Eastern Michigan will put it in play when we come back to Fresno. Ron Adams has passed 3 times, completed 2 for 0 yards. That's the wishbone at its best, right? His team up by 3.
If they're winning the football game, that's the most important stat.
1st and 10, Adams. 2 setbacks behind him, Nash and Patton. Here comes Gary Patton running left and running wide. Good pursuit, flag down. He picks up 5 yards. We may have a hold, though, on Eastern Michigan. Eugene Wirtz, it is holding. Our referee says so. Negate a 5-yard pickup, and that'll be a 10-yard infraction, bringing up a first down and 20. The Road Warriors of Eastern Michigan
Holding
before the year.
Against the offense, still first down.
They were given their schedule, which had mostly road games, 5 away games in the MAC. So Jim Harkema, using reverse psychology, had Road Warrior buttons and pins printed up, got his team psyched to go on the road, and it worked. They won 4 of their 5 MAC games away, won 4 of 6 overall. And before that, before this year, not a single team in the MAC was even a remotely good road team. And he really got his team to play strongly on the road. And now they're thousands of miles away from their home, but playing very well. Now it's 1st and 20. They go back to the bone. They move Patton out of it. And they took too much time.
That's going to be back-to-back penalties on them. Now they're moving the wrong direction. They can't afford to do that. One of the things about a running offense or a wishbone offense, you can't make mistakes. You can't have penalties because it's much tougher to get those yards back on the ground than it is a Perez-led passing attack. Have a lot easier time getting it back.
Well, Rod Adams, when they did throw the ball, Stan, he threw pretty well. He has got a pretty strong arm. In fact, early this year, he had a great year. And a better year last year. Wound up with 1,427 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He was the all-MAC first-team unanimous quarterback. He does have a strong arm if they need to throw it downfield. He's not yet done that in the ballgame by design. He may have to. Now he fires over the middle. It's complete to Craig Ostrander, a junior wide receiver, and that picks up some. That'll bring up second down at about 13. Tackle made by Phil Fresh.
Well, that just is a quick break off on the blitz. They came with the full-out blitz, and that's one of your favorite blitz patterns, just a quick break by the wide receiver, and Adams delivers the football right into the breadbasket. He makes the catch, and that's what you do at the blitz, that quick set and throw. That'll stop those teams from blitzing.
Before the year began, the Hurons did not have a single wide receiver who caught a pass in college football on this level before, all new guys. Adams is popped as he fires, complete this time to Ziegler. And he's pushed out of bounds short of the first down. Jay Taylor and Ryan Rasnick, a sophomore out of Torrance, California, makes the play, bringing up a 3rd down and short.
Again, they come with the inside blitz and single coverage on the outside. All he does is look out there, gets a little more time to throw this time, hits the hook pattern. A good open field tackle keeps him short of the first down, but now they're back in the area they want to be. 3rd down and short, 3rd and 3.
And those first 2 worked well. Split out 2 wide receivers, move Nash, slot right, lone setback is Gary Patton. Spartans were over anxious again, and this will give Eastern Michigan the first down on the penalty unless one of the Hurons jumped. I don't believe they did, though.
Well, that was on purpose. That was a long count. You see him barking, his head moving. In pro ball, you'll get that call on the quarterback a lot of times when his head moves like that, head bobbing.
Offside against the defense. First down.
And the center also played a part in that. As soon as he saw somebody jump, he snapped the ball. So it really didn't have a snap count coming. All he did is he waited until somebody drew offsides, and then he snapped the football. It probably was on 4 or 5 on down the line if somebody wouldn't have jumped offsides. But a good play and a first down keeps the drive alive and keeps, even more important, their hands on the football.
I don't know how Claude Gilbert has made it through this entire year with all of these defensive penalties. They run Bob Foster, and he breaks the tackle out across the 40, and a good pickup.
I don't know if he broke it. He just carried the tackle with him. Talk about riding the Bronco here. He just jumped on his back and got a little bit of a ride here. Watch Foster take the handoff. Just again, the power play. Doesn't get much of a block. His lead blocker falls down, so he's got to become his own blocker. Now watch, he does right here. Just carries the man all the way down the field. Yeah, Rick Cox, who has made some big hits. Greg Cox, we said, inside linebacker, strong safety, sort of a dual role.
Second down and 2. Handoff goes to the fullback Nash. Out near first down yardage, but not a big gain.
I mean, real close to the first down, and That's what they want to do. I mean, they may even want not to have the first down here. Beat up another 30 seconds of the clock, get another first down, use up another play. Well, they might have to measure this one. Yeah, they're going to bring it in now.
Well, Harkiman wants the first down, Stan. He's pointing. He doesn't buy your theory. Give him 4 new downs.
Tell you what, I'd try to use as many of those 30-second segments as I could. I'd take another free one.
It's certainly going to be close, obviously. And they're going to be short, or did they make it by the nose?
It's one of those where you got to slip a credit card in between and figure out if it hits or not. He's got just the inches, they say. Not even inches, millimeters, huh? You see the NFL game where I think it was Ben Rice slipped a piece of paper down in between the ball and the post to see if he had the first down. So this isn't even a bad time right here on 3rd down and an inch to take a gamble, go all the way, go for the big one. I don't think he will, but you know, what the heck? It'd be a good play. They don't have the wishbone in.
Nope, they have 2 wide receivers.
Nobody's covering the outside receiver at the top. There's nobody covering him.
Benzinger's all by himself. If Adams looks left, he's all by himself, Benzinger. Let's see if he audibilizes. No, he runs it alone. As Dan Benzinger, number 18, lined up left, and there wasn't a single Spartan on the left side of the field.
And Harkham is down there holding his head. One of the assistant coaches kicking the ground. Benzinger should have made him aware of the fact that he wasn't covered.
He's looking left, and that's where Benzinger is.
Just a little quarterback sneak, but they had 6 points for sure. Nobody covered Benzinger, the wideout. I think the defense only had 10 men on the field.
But Adams snuck for it. They have 4 more downs.
I can't believe that he wouldn't see that. You've got to look out at the wide receivers every play.
Fullback Nash right up behind Adams. The handoff with Foster. Pau gets in there and drops him in the backfield.
That's what's called blitzing to the right gap. He ran right into the play. Just another blitzing linebacker. You see him come through here. Just happened to call it right to the right area. He went through 2 men, though, to make the play. So the Tongan hitman wasn't able to get him down for a loss. Foster is strong enough to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's what you got to do defensively and start gambling when you can't control them. Put them in these long down situations. Dare them to throw the football.
Yepi Pau was playing in his 4th straight bowl game. 2 on the junior college level. Of course, last year the Spartans were here in the Cal Bowl. And one big 37-7. Flare out, skip pass. Mark Ziegler off 1 hop. And that'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
That's just a bad pass. He had him down in a curl. Looked like he almost short-armed that one, like he was afraid the back was going to cut in front of him. And when he pulled it away, it just went right down into the ground.
Looked almost like Mark Malone of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want to be cruel, but I heard a great line about him, about how Mark Malone and Larry Bird had a lot in common. They both throw great bounce passes. Hope Mark is not listening today. 3rd down and 10. Steelers will have a shot at the AFC Central then.
They're tied for the lead.
And they took too long again, Adams did. And it's twice he has done this.
I think their offensive right tackle jumped off sides.
Clock also went down to 0. Let's see which one Mr. Wirtz singles out.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 3rd down.
Ball start. One of the linemen moved to stand set. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 15 yards to go.
The big man, Evans Hicks, 325 pounds. When he starts to move, it's tough to stop it. And all you got to do is get a little momentum, and it's going to keep going.
Ever so slightly, rain has begun to fall here in Fresno.
That works to the advantage of Eastern Michigan. The worse the field conditions, the better it is for a running team.
Adams again confused, and he now calls a timeout. 9:07 to play, the 3rd quarter beginning very slowly. But Eastern Michigan's happy. They have still a 3-point lead. We are back. Greg Papa, Stan White, Fresno, California, where the rain is tumbling a little stronger than it was moments ago, and now can become a factor as a number of umbrellas have popped up. Here's a 3rd and 15 for Eastern Michigan. Ziegler and Ostrander split wide each side. Adams going to throw it downfield. No, he's not. He is really hit hard by Greg Cox. The Rover back roved in the backfield that time for his 2nd sack of the day.
Well, he got pressured and made step up in the pocket, and Cox hit him right in the face. See right here, they come with the blitz. Somebody comes free right there, makes him step up, and then Cox just cleans up on him right there. But he didn't get as good a hit as it looked to begin with. He sort of got him with the arm and drug him backwards.
Cox was quoted as saying this week, Stan, these guys, referring to Eastern Michigan, have a chip on their shoulder that's going to get knocked off. It was the whole thing about each team performing a rap song at the steak dinner they had here Monday, which got Cox fired up, which is not hard to do. Here's a good kick by Benitez, going to bound inside the 5 and roll in the end zone. And Perez and the Spartans will begin from their 20 with 8:18 to play. Third quarter, still Eastern Michigan leading San Jose State by 3. Well, Mike Perez and San Jose State have a history the last couple of years of comebacks, some big second half victories late. Long way to go here, 8:18 to play. They'd like to start their comeback now as they flare it out, and the ball is batted down to the line of scrimmage there by Louis Cafazzo as they strung it out. And he made a nice play stepping up there, the sophomore from Hamilton, Ontario.
Yeah, if you can pick that off, he walks into the end zone. Again, that read screen, it's almost a backwards throw. It's close to being a lateral right here, even though he did hit the ball. I don't know the official, I didn't see if he made a call or not, but it's real close to being thrown backwards, which would make that a free ball despite the fact that it hit the ground.
And San Jose State really has abandoned the run game. And they're a pretty good running team. With Jackson and Saxon, Perez has thrown almost every time. Here he goes again. Complete to Kenny Roberts. And he's down at midfield. The catch and the run, something Jim Harkema was concerned about. The yardage the Spartan receivers get, mainly Liggins. That time Roberts, though, Stan, after they catch the football.
Well, again, Liggins in motion draws a crowd. You can see them all start to come up on him, and they just hit the slant pattern to Roberts behind the linebackers. The linebacker has got to, once Liggins leaves his zone, stay there. He can't be running out of his zone to help somebody else and open it up for somebody like Kenny Roberts.
Tackle made by Anthony Johnson. Big pickup, though. Here's Perez on 1st and 10, firing. It is caught. Out there in the flat is Guy Liggins, who was having a quiet game. Every game that he has played in San Jose State, for San Jose State, he has caught at least 4 with that catch. Liggins now has caught 3. And that time he slipped, Stan. Certainly the field is becoming a factor with this light rain falling.
We noticed it was a little bit slippery before the game started. So if it gets wetter now with this rain, it's even going to be tougher. But the slippery part, as long as you got a ball to throw, sometimes works to the offensive advantage.
Flag down.
Mike Bernard came out of his stance. Now they're swinging at each other.
They're playing Spartan football as they shove each other late.
The left guard and left tackle, both of them jump back. That's going to be 5 yards. Perez was the guy coming in there pushing people away.
Jim Carter, senior, and Mike Bernard both jumped.
May be able to bench press, but I'll tell you what, everybody on that defensive line for Eastern Michigan bench press over 400 pounds, so quarterback's got to watch it.
Well, that's one thing Jim Harkema talked about yesterday in our meeting with him, Stan, the fact that San Jose State is a quick football team, but he didn't think that their size was much of a factor. He thought his team could win the physical battle. He wanted to keep the game close. He talked about the space relationship. San Jose State is a quicker team, obviously. But he thought his guys could play with them, muscular-wise.
We have a dead ball. False start against the offense. We have a dead ball, a personal foul against the offense.
Wow.
Disqualification. 20-yard penalty.
One of the Spartans has been kicked out of the game.
So it isn't Perez, huh? Yeah, he was involved in that. Let's see which one they do kick out. Who gets ejected?
Well, James Saxon's walking off the field. I don't think he was involved, though. You would think one of the line people was involved.
Maybe we'll see it on the replay. He jump off sides. He slaps him on the helmet, knocks the guard.
67, Jim Carter, has been kicked out of the game.
Oh, right there, a punch. Yeah, Carter threw a punch and hit Eric Miller right in the face. Yeah, that's an automatic disqualification. Things are starting to heat up.
Carter's collegiate career is over right there. The senior is done. First team PCAA player this year, kicked out. And Mark Frederick, Jr., is forced in. to play the left guard position. And the Spartans went way back on that play. It was 2nd and 4. Now it's 2nd and 25. Well, they have to rehuddle up again.
That's the big draw screen down now on this this type of situation. You get everybody dropping back real deep, which I'm sure Eastern Michigan will do. Try to dump it over the line, get a blocker out, and break a tackle and get a chunk of that yardage back.
Again to Jackson. Great move, then he loses his footing at about the 38-yard line. He really put a great move on Scott Wyka and then lost his feet.
Well, let's question whether Wyka leg whipped him, though, here. You can't tackle with your legs. You can't trip. See what Wyka does right here. See if we can get it. I think that may be called tripping, don't you?
That was close. Conrad Dobler was also here talking to both teams the other day at a luncheon. Maybe he told Wyka one of his old tricks.
Yeah, well, that was one of the best that he had. Yeah. He was better off tripping than he was trying to block him.
Were you in the game when you played with the Baltimore Colts when he leg whipped, actually the Cowboys, they were playing that game, John Dutton, one of your former teammates, when Dobler was a Buffalo Bill. And now Mike Perez is forced to call a timeout. We have a very, very slow-paced third quarter going on here, and we'll take a timeout too. 6:17 to play in the third. Eastern Michigan still up 17 to 14. Well, this game has been a surprise in some respects. No surprise penalty yard. San Jose State led college football this year and last year in penalties. Now Perez's passes blocked the line of scrimmage by Mike Burns. Big play by Burns there. And now it's 4th down.
Yeah, they set up a middle screen to James Saxon. We thought it'd be a screen down before, but they went to the screen on this play. He just tries to dump it over the on-charging defensive line. See right there, Bronco Vincic just knocks the football down. They had it set up pretty well, too.
Yeah, Vincic blocked it. Burns was standing next to him. Tom Deal to punt. Charles Gordon is back. Another poor effort by Deal. He'll bounce and go out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 6:06 to play, third quarter. And the third quarter has gone very, very slowly, which Eastern Michigan is happy about. And the fact that San Jose State has not done much offensively, still hanging on to a 3-point lead, but plenty of time for Perez and the Spartans to get themselves back.
Well, that slow pace is a component of all the penalties that are being called. It stops the clock, stops play. The unbalanced line, wishbone, they're unbalanced left here, Greg.
That means the tight end is playing on the left side of the formation. Bill Cupp, number 84. They run right. Fool everybody. There's Bob Foster, who scored twice today on across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
What Adams does on the unbalanced, he sees whether they adjust defensively. If they adjust to the strong side, then he goes back weak because you got one less man to block, one less man to worry about. You've made them over-adjust to the strong side. If they don't adjust, then you got a man advantage over there, and you go towards the strong side. So either way, you have something you can work on.
Foster is now out there with Jimmy Johnson as they give Patton a rest. Back is Nash. Here's Jimmy Johnson. He is spilled down near the 40-yard line. And some glaring going on. Greg Cox, intimidator from Columbus, Ohio. Donnie Ray, the defensive coordinator, says he thinks he's a gangster the way he plays. He's a thug.
Columbus, Ohio, huh? Well, maybe that has something to do with it. You see right here, yeah, the officials going to have to get this thing under control here because it's getting close to breaking into a full-fledged brawl and something like that.
Yeah, Raznick shoved him late for no reason.
Yeah, those guys are out there, they're getting their butts whipped and they're trying to intimidate somebody.
Well, that's the nature of the defense. Pau is going to blitz. They stop it. Adams throws. Intercepted by Raznick. He went down, though. One knee went down at the 49. A flag is thrown again late. I think Pau may have teed off on somebody. That's always a good bet.
Again, they never sees the free safety, Raznick. He looks for the slant pattern off the blitz, but the free safety came off his coverage and just went right in front to make the interception. We'll see if it was a post-possession foul or whether Eastern Michigan gets the ball back. First, we'll see who it's on, I guess, huh? You see Raznick again. His knee is down when he makes the interception.
There's an interception. First down.
No flag. Well, that's a strange one. Guy threw it. Didn't mean to, apparently. I never understood how that happens. Anyway, Raznick on the interception. And the Spartans take it back at their own 49-yard line. The statistics in this ball game will not count towards the season totals. Raznick coming to the ball game had one interception. His brother, by the way, Rick Raznick, is the offensive coordinator of the San Jose State Spartans, and now he's back to work. And they have abandoned, I talked about it the last series, they have not run the football at all. Stand very few times, 12 times the first half, and hardly any in the second. They're going to pass again. And Liggins is open behind him, and he makes the catch. Slides down, first down at the 37-yard line of Eastern Michigan.
Linebackers get sucked up, and I don't know why. You just said they hadn't run the whole half. There's no sense in worrying about the run. The play action just brings the line. Once the linebackers up here, they're only 4 or 5 yards deep. They got to get back there with Liggins. And they should be back there in that throwing lane. You can't give him that area to throw the football. Liggins is the man he wants, the slot man on play action.
That's his 4th catch of the day. So that makes it 24 out of 24 in his college career, at least 4 catches. Perez off play action, rolls right. Where's he going? He's going the wrong way. Burns in pursuit, gets a block. He finds Johnny Johnson, and this whole play will lose about 3 yards. Keith Bertram makes the tackle. Mike Perez started running straight backwards like his own. He's going for his own goal line.
He must have been watching some Fran Tarkington films to run that direction. He's lucky he didn't get thrown for a 20-yard loss. But again, the play action, they took away Liggins' outcut, made him cut back to the inside. There's nobody for Perez to throw to. He just makes something happen on his own. He finally throws it to Johnny Johnson. He'd probably been better off just dropping the football and going back to the line of scrimmage.
And probably the only rap on Perez is he is not a gifted runner. John Elway saw him play once this year and questioned whether he could throw the long ball. Perez got mad at that, says, certainly I can. I'm not a great runner, though. Over the middle, the ball is deflected and incomplete.
Mike Burns almost got hit right in the face on that. When he turned around, the ball went right off his shoulder pads. He doesn't then look. He's making a drop without looking. Linebackers need to keep their eyes on the quarterback, and if he would have, he'd have made the interception. You can see just as he turns, it goes right off his right shoulder pad. He hardly ever saw it.
Now again, Mike Burns is listed as a defensive end stand, but those two outside guys kind of read things, see what they're going to play, and they will drop back like linebackers.
That's right. They can go. They got 4 men listed as defensive linemen. They can drop Eric Miller off. They can drop Mike Burns off and end up with a 3-man rush. But here they go, 3rd down and long.
Johnny Johnson, Guy Liggins in motion. Also Kenny Roberts out there, 3 receivers for Perez. Over the middle, he throws, complete to Kenny Jackson, and he lunges for the first down before Keith Bertram pulls him down. A big 3rd and 12. They pick up 15 to Kenny Jackson.
I'll tell you what, Liggins was open for a touchdown if you could have seen him. They came with the rush. Came with the rush and went man defense. Kenny Jackson should not be able to beat the linebacker that easily coming out from right through the line of scrimmage. You should be able to bang him and stop him. It's not very good coverage by Keith Bertram.
Kenny Jackson last year caught 52 passes. This year, 32. Today, he has 5. And you see his numbers there, 34 yards. He's now in the eye behind Saxon. Again, Liggins in motion. He's in motion almost every play. They hand off to Jackson. Good hold. Still on his feet. And he's down to the 12-yard line. Jerry Smith, sophomore roverback from Jackson, Michigan, number 31, finally pulls him down.
Well, this is the draw play. Watch the delayed draw. The backs split out of eye. Every time those backs split, it's either the draw or the fake draw. Linebackers have to come up when they see that and plug their holes. When they stay back that far, it gives the offensive lineman time to set up, come downfield, and block and create the lane for Kenny Jackson.
And now it is raining quite hard, and you see the heavy wrap on Jackson's upper right thigh. He has taken some pops in this football game. 11 carries, now 50 yards. It is now pouring. Perez throws. Johnny Johnson gets a block. Carries a man into the end zone. Touchdown, San Jose State. And for the first time today, they have the lead.
Well, we talked about it again. Liggins lined up at fullback. And we said the next time he goes out in motion, watch for the play action pass. We thought they might go to Liggins, but instead he turns away from Liggins, ends up hitting Johnny Johnson, who's listed as a wide receiver, but really, in fact, is a tailback, and they needed him at that wide receiver position. In fact, he'll probably be the tailback next year when both Saxon and Kenny Jackson graduate, but he shows his running ability. That's why they like to throw screens to him, just let him use that running ability.
Oliveira's on for his 3rd point after touchdown. And he's got it. And with 2:24 to play, 3rd quarter, the Spartans, favored by 17 today to win their 2nd straight Cal Bowl, finally have the lead on this play.
Well, here it is. You see Liggins. There he is lined up at fullback. They'll set up, and he'll go to his right.
Well, that was not obviously the touchdown play.
No, it's going the wrong way. There he goes. He's going out to the right. Kenny Jackson out to the left. Johnny Johnson, excuse me, out to the left. He takes the ball, just runs in. He runs over Menard, but, you know, that's a tough tackle to make in the open field like that for the free safety coming all that way on a running back who's 6'3", 210.
Yeah, and Johnny Johnson, you mentioned, a great high school running back, one of the best in Northern California. Senior year 2 years ago, ran for better than 1,700 yards. They played him at tailback last week, not last week, a month ago in their last game.
Against Long Beach.
Against Long Beach, and he ripped off 59 yards and was very strong. And Claude Gilbert said most definitely Johnny Johnson will be my tailback next year. Johnny Johnson's father is the 5th all-time leading rusher at San Jose State. And it is really, really now pouring here in Raisin Country, which will be good for the raisin growers, but not good for San Jose State's pass attack, you would believe. But also that can help a passing team with the fact defensive backs have to be more cautious. What does it do to the wishbone attack?
Yeah, well, that makes the exchanges that much more difficult. The pitches and everything else.
It always helps, I guess, the team that has the lead. Right now it's the Spartans. Here's Leonard Smith from his 4. Out across the 30. This guy's had some big runs back today, and he stumbles out across his 40-yard line. 37-yard return. Leonard Smith, who coming into the ballgame averaged less than 20 a return. And he's a little guy, only 5'6 and a half.
Well, watch the speed he hits this with. He's going full speed. That's what you got to do when you return a kick. You can't go up there looking for a hole. You got to approach it full speed. Watch him. He's going all out right there. He sees the hole, accelerates, he darts. He doesn't dance around. He makes a good cut. That one last man right there coming back from the side really left him from going one-on-one with the last man. You can see it from the end zone.
Sorry, Stan. Leonard Smith got the game started on the right note for Eastern Michigan, taking the opening kick 48 yards. They ran Gary Patton here on 1st down and across the 45-yard line.
And they're going to stick with their game plan. They're not going to change now because they're down by 4 points, 21-17. They still want to control the football. They still want to keep it out of Mike Perez's hands. And all they got to do is drive down and get a score. I mean, they'd love to get a 7, 8 minute, 9 minute drive now.
That was the first carry of the 2nd half right there for Gary Patton. Now carried the ball 14 times for 70 yards. Last carry good for 3. Spartans show blitz. Kidney backs away. So does Paulu. Patton's going to throw, and he's going to throw deep. He has a man open. It is caught by Gary Patton as he was there with single coverage against Greg Cox, who is not very fast.
And he's not talking a lot after that play, is he? Huh? If you want to shut somebody up, you just start beating them. And that's what Gary Patton did. They faked the play. Patton, you saw him break the bone and go in motion. He just goes down the sideline, and Cox is behind him. And his speed is the question mark. Patton makes a great over-the-shoulder catch, though. That's a tough catch when you got to go over the opposite shoulder. He comes down with the football.
That play went for 28 yards. Cox's speed, 4.8. He ran in the mud. Last time he was timed may cost him a shot at the NFL. They don't know where he can play. Now we have Rob Fogarty, the backup tight end, moved early, obviously. And he held on to one of the Spartans there. That should be a false start.
Dead ball, false start, offense, still 1st down.
Again, the mistakes that you make on an offense that is running the football, based on running the football, much tougher to come back from. 1st and 15 is tough for Eastern Michigan, tough to convert.
Clock now rolling, approaching 1 minute to play in the 3rd quarter. San Jose State 21, Eastern Michigan 17, playing the 7th annual California Bowl. Patton moves in motion. And the handoff to Bob Foster is hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped there on a very good line surge by Mike Hutcherson.
Well, that's the companion play. That's the play they faked when they threw the ball to Patton. This time they just flipped it over and tried to run the really the sprint draw effect out of the wishbone. But just a good tackle, a good play by that blitzing, gambling 46 defense of the Spartans.
Hutcherson, a big play there. He is a junior out of Las Vegas, Nevada, for Claude Gilbert. This will be the last play of the third quarter. Barring a pass, and we're going to have a pass. Maybe it won't be. Adams is flushed, and he throws. Did he get it off? Is that a fumble?
Now they're calling
incomplete pass. But he may have thrown that ball backwards as it skipped off the field. They called it an incomplete pass with 5 seconds to play.
Well, it was backwards, but it was because he was being hit that the ball flew backwards. He didn't intentionally throw it back. Now watch him get hit right here.
Greg Cox.
And the reason it went backwards is because of that impact by Cox.
Greg Cox stumbled. He was blitzing again from the rover back position. Had time to get his feet and go in there and lay into Ron Adams. Third down, 16 yards they need. And Harkema wants things to hurry up here with 5 seconds to go.
I think we got a blitz coming right here by San Jose State.
Third and 16.
Burn them or not.
Better believe they're going to come. They live for moments like this. Chris Alexander had him. Adams fires. It is caught! And they have the first down before Jay Taylor makes the tackle as they threw downfield, and it was pulled down there by Craig Ostrander.
Again, Adams makes the play with his own individual talents. The blitz was there. He just gets outside. Stiff arms Chris Alexander, moves around, stays in the pocket, and stays there. He knows he's going to get hit. He throws the ball downfield. Mark Ziegler makes the catch for the first down.
They blitzed 3 people, Alexander, Pau'u, and Cox, and he got away and hit Ostrander for a big play. That is it for 3 quarters. Our score, San Jose State 21, Eastern Michigan 17. The wishbone attack of Eastern Michigan versus the pass attack of San Jose State. Total yards in favor of the Spartans, but Eastern Michigan has picked it up when they need to, and they've held the ball for almost 10 more minutes.
And that's the key. The less time Perez has to put points on the board, the better it is for your team.
And last pass to Ziegler, a big one also. They begin the fourth quarter. First and 10 from the Spartan 15. There's Gary Patton. He has the ball. He's going in the end zone, untouched. Eastern Michigan has the lead back.
When you blitz, you can sure get burnt. Their linebackers, again, did not keep their eyes open. We've talked about when you're blitzing linebacker-wise, you cannot just let everything fly. You see Mark Cox run right, Greg Cox, run right by Patton. You don't even need to block the guy. Just let him run himself out of the play. It opens up the hole. You get past the first wave. And Patton walks in the end zone and does a little bit of a
He knows that dance.
Watch Cox right here. Just runs right by him. You don't even have to block him. And then where's he go? Right back to where Cox left.
And that's something the Eastern Michigan coaching staff told us. Greg Cox will oftentimes over-pursue, and you can catch him on the misdirection plays, which they did right there. That carry by Patton is second of the second half, and the extra point is no good. And that's a big miss right there by Hennigan. He had missed 3 all year, and only 1 field goal he has missed all year. But that one leaves San Jose State only down by 2. A field goal can win. We played 5 seconds of the fourth quarter. Huron's on top. Gary Patton runs 15 yards on the first play of the fourth quarter. Eastern Michigan has the lead back. 23-21, capping off a 6-play, 58-yard drive. Took him 2.5 minutes. It was started by the big return, kick return by Leonard Smith after San Jose State on Kenny Jackson's touchdown run had taken their first lead. But the extra point was missed by Hennigan. It's 23-21. And Lopp kicks off short again. Fielded on the fly, coming in by James Saxon. Stiffs arms Anthony Johnson is pulled down at his 33-yard line.
That's about the best you can expect with that short a kick, is to keep about the 30, but that's great field position. They really need to do something to get deeper kickoffs. I don't know why they don't teach the kid to run up and kick the football rather than just taking a step or two.
Well, I think they're purposely kicking short so they don't let Saxon get a full head of steam, but that's questionable strategy.
Yeah, it's working against you when you keep giving the ball between the 30 and the 40 all day long.
Just telling them how much respect they have that Saxon can bust the thing and go all the way. He does have a great return average, but it's long this year, not that long. They run up the middle. Kenny Jackson pulled down. after a gain of about 3. 14:35 to play. 4th quarter. Rain falling in Fresno, California.
I'm sure Eastern Michigan will continue to stay with their game plan. As we've talked about, they'll give them the short stuff, but just don't want to give them anything cheap.
Play action. Ball is caught by Johnny Johnson. He picks up 3.
Played that one much better than the touchdown play that he had earlier. The very same play. They faked the run into the line and hit Johnny down the sideline. Good tailback. You get the wide receiver position, but he does scramble and get close to a first down. He's just 2 yards short. As the rain now starts coming down real heavy. It didn't rain in California.
That's Southern California in the summertime. It pours in California in the winter. Makes up for the summer. 3rd and 2. Here's Kenny Jackson. Fumbles the football. Eastern Michigan has it.
Bronco Vincic.
What a play by Bronco, who has made some big plays behind the line of scrimmage, and none bigger than that one.
Sure, none bigger. That's right. Again, did the rain have any effect?
Yeah.
Did the rain have any effect on the ball? Looks like a pretty good pitch. He just doesn't catch the football. He's looking up instead of looking at the ball. I don't think it was the rain. I think it was his eyes. You're looking up to see who's got there and where the blocks are coming from instead of catching the football, which is the first thing you have to do. He put it on the ground, and Eastern Michigan gets a huge turnover.
Bronco Vincic out of a town called Fruitland, Canada.
Jeez.
That name Bronco from a town named Fruitland doesn't jive. 23-21. Eastern Michigan trying to salt it out now. 13.5 to play. Here's Foster picking up a few. And you better believe the Spartan defenders start going for the football to strip it. A lot of time left, but the ball right now is a factor as far as the slickness, with the rain really coming down, being a factor here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I think if you're in the Eastern Michigan sideline, you're thinking, hey, if we score and go up 9 points with the rain coming down, we got to look pretty good.
Eastern Michigan players kid Bob Foster that he runs like Eric Dickerson. I wouldn't mind being kidded by
I think
like
that's
that.
a pretty good comparison.
Talking about his style.
Yeah.
He has put up some numbers today, 2 touchdowns, but not the kind of yardage, obviously, as Adams keeps it on the option out across the 35.
Again, they went unbalanced to the right and came back to the short side. It's probably part of their game plan. They've probably seen some films where San Jose State has adjusted to the unbalanced and left themselves weaker on the short side. All day long, they've gone unbalanced and gone back short.
Ron Adams coming into the ballgame had run for almost 400 yards. 3rd leading rusher today. He has carried 9 times for 31 yards. This is 3rd down and 8.
Here comes the blitz.
Who is coming? They run the option behind Foster, but he has it, but not the first down. 29-yard line thereabouts. Phil Frasch steps up again. He is a very strong rush defender, and he made the play there.
Again, a good block on the corner by Gary Patton, allows him to get free. See Patton knock him down right here. Watch him. Cuts him right down to the ground, or at least gets him down where he can't make the tackle. Foster just gets close. I think they may go for it in 4th down here. Now they're going. Now they got the man in to kick the field goal, and it's Lopp.
Is it Lopp or is it Hennigan?
No, it's Hennigan. You're right. It's Hennigan. It's 21, not 28.
This will be a 46-yard field goal for Tim Hennigan. He made one early in the game. He's hit 10 of 11 this year. It looks long enough, and it is no good. Just wide. So San Jose State stays within 2. 11:57 to play. 4th quarter, playing the 7th annual California Bowl, and the Mid-American Conference right now leads the PCAA by a couple of points. A driving rainstorm here in California. Somewhere over the rainbow, a pot of gold. Stan White told me to say that. Down the middle of the ball, it's complete to Clump. He breaks the tackle, and he dives to the 46 of Eastern Michigan. Tom Menard, the junior. Free safety put him down, but Perez hits it big.
Again, that's too deep to allow. That's too easy. The defensive man have got to make a play on that. He has nobody running him off. He's just got to come up and hit the tight end. They had 2 other guys shorter than the tight end. And the tight end's not a guy that's going to threaten you deep. You should be able to come up and at least break up that pass.
Well, you would think Perez's numbers would be nowhere near as strong as they are. 22 of 32 for better than 250 yards. Jackson inside running, then bounces outside. Scott Wyka, sophomore linebacker, makes the tackle. They have a young bunch of linebackers. Anthony Johnson, a freshman. Wyka's a sophomore, and Keith Bertram is a junior.
I'll tell you one thing. If you told Jim Harkema you could go into the fourth quarter with 11 minutes left and be 2 points in the lead, he'd have taken it in a second.
That's exactly what he said. Keep me close in the fourth quarter and give me a shot to win there. The only negative right now is that missed extra point. This is 2nd and 7. Kenny Jackson, first down. Kenny Jackson spins, 31-yard line.
Something was wrong.
Made the tackle, Stan.
Yeah, something's wrong when there's nobody over there within 20 yards of the receiver. They had Charles Gordon had to come up from 20 yards deep as he was catching the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Perez has now thrown for 270 yards, 23 of 33.
So he's pacing the sideline saying, hey, just hang on, hang on. There's only 10.5 minutes left.
Willie McLeod, flanker screen, breaks a tackle, and he dives. First down at the 20-yard line. Again, Tom Menard, 6. Brian Carter, 32.
That's the play they used for the touchdown to Johnny Johnson. This time it's McLeod. Faked it in there. Just good pursuit from the inside. Saved a big play. See, Wyka comes in there. If he doesn't slow him up, then the next guy can't make the tackle. So, tell you what, you got to keep coming and keep coming because these guys break a lot of tackles. You got a lot of yards after you caught the ball on that one.
That's been the story. I mean, Perez is throwing the ball laterally, dumping it off to his backs, throwing short. These guys have broken some tackles. Now Saxon bounces it outside, now bounces back in, takes a hit, and spins down for 5. Anthony Johnson popped him pretty good for a 207-pound linebacker. He really hit James Saxon. Saxon's very tough.
I tell you what, he made that all on his own. It's just a counter play, and it's stuff at the line. You see the men coming from the outside, although Hefner gets hit right on his back. See right there, Menard makes a good tackle right there, hits him hard, spins him around and down.
San Jose State's offense probably will have 5 guys drafted in the National Football League. Perez, Liggins, Saxon, Mike Bernard, and also Kenny Jackson, of course. Here's Saxon inside, breaks a tackle, touchdown, San Jose State. Saxon throws one earlier to Klump, and now he busts one up the middle.
Well, it reminds you of the one that Gary Patton just ran. Just broke the first wave and walked into the end zone. So many times they've run this on play action. This time they just give it to him, the trap play. I think maybe they overlooked it, looking for where to see the ball was going to go off the play action. They give it to Saxon, and that's too easy, just walking in the end zone.
16-yard touchdown. James Saxon with 9:36 to play. San Jose State now leads by 4.
Going for 2.
That'll make it 6.
Probably going to try some type of pick play in motion with Liggins.
Saxon behind. Play to Saxon. Flag down.
But they were going to. They're going to have to call a new play this time now.
Their offense is so diversified. Penalty's going to be against Eastern Michigan here.
We have a dead ball, offside against the defense, half the distance to the goal.
They obviously lined up in the neutral zone.
Now what do? Do you change and go to a running play? You only got 1.5 yards to go.
With their offensive people, I mean, you put 4 wide receivers in the game, Stan. How do you possibly cover all those guys? I mean,
well, this is one area you can cover because you don't have to worry about them going behind you. You stay in front of them. But the fear here is being picked off
exactly
from one man to the other. And that's how that's what they were trying to do with Liggins in motion that time.
And they do that a lot. I mean, that's a big part of their offense is the old basketball pick cover.
Now it's power eye.
3 backs behind Stewart, Saxon, Jackson. Pitch to Jackson. Flag is down again. And this play never even got off the ground. Again, a flag down before the snap.
Tell you what, they had it stopped, though. It's a bad break for Eastern Michigan.
Dead ball. Delay. Against the offense.
Now we're back at the 3-yard line for our 2-point conversion.
How do you get a delay after the other team has a penalty? I don't know, but it sure worked against the team who the team who could have had the penalty.
These two teams do not want you to make your airplane flight.
I tell you what, Eastern Michigan had them stopped cold that time. All they have to do right there is just, make the tackle. They had 3-4 guys out there, but no, the play was dead.
Well, I said back to the 3. In actuality, the first penalty was only a half the distance of the goal. This being a 5, so it goes to the 7-yard line. Well, they'll go for a 2-point conversion.
Now you go back to the pick plays.
Saxon lines up in a slot. They keep Stewart in. They keep the wishbone. Stewart and Jackson. Perez off play action. Throws end zone. Overshoots Liggins. They don't get it.
Yeah, just a bad throw. If it had been a good throw, he might have got an interference call because Gordon and Liggins wrapped up with each other, but the ball was thrown so poorly they didn't call anything.
And by missing that, they negate the edge they had with the missed extra point by Eastern Michigan. 9:36 to play. Spartans have a 4-point lead here at 27-23. And I'm perplexed at why he would go for 2, Stan. I mean, at the situation they had there, as long as they kick the extra point and stay up by 5, they always kept the field goal. Last chance to put themselves up. We'll talk about this when we come back to Fresno in a moment. 9:36 to play in the game. As I was saying, San Jose State leads by 4. College basketball fans, hang on. Missouri and Memphis State will come up in a moment following this ball game. Maybe not a moment. 9:36 to play. Derek Chivas and the Tigers set to play. Also the Tigers of Memphis State. Short kick again. Leonard Smith from his 15, running right. Flag down. Jay Taylor is going to throw him out of bounds. But again, a flag is lying at the 27-yard line, and you have to assume, as always on a kick return, somebody clipped.
Or somebody held, whatever it is, it's going to go backwards on the returning team.
Let's get back to the point we were debating before. Why would Coach Gilbert go for 2 and give away the 1 point he had following the missed extra point?
Well, I think at this point he probably figures a 4 or a 5-point lead doesn't do you any good. It's the same difference. If you get to 6, then you put the pressure on the kicker who's already missed 1 extra point if they do score a touchdown. And plus there's a possibility of the 2 field goals.
During the run back, half the distance, first down.
Half the distance to the goal.
You get 6 ahead, the other team kicks 1 field goal. You figure they'll probably go for the win rather than a tie. If you're only 2 points ahead, a field goal would beat you.
But my theory was if Eastern Michigan scores and gets the extra point, they're up 30-27, and San Jose State can only tie with a field goal.
It changes as you look backwards. So I guess you got to make a decision, and obviously you do at the time.
Claude Gilbert right now is thinking of my defense plays. I don't have to worry about it. Adams rolls, slips, gets back up, fires, intercepted by Jay Taylor. Second time Adams has been picked off, and this one's big. He was going for Ziegler, and Jay Taylor, a great cover guy, very quick, stepped up and took it away.
Yeah, it's a good play by Taylor. Just watch this throw. It's not a good throw. The man has good position. He cuts in front. He guessed right. You figure when the quarterback rolls, you figure also that the man's going to do an out pattern. He slips right here. I guess he probably wishes he would have fell down at this point. You can see he throws it right there. Jay Taylor breaks underneath Ziegler. Makes a big interception.
Now Perez at the 25. The handoff to Kenny Jackson. Big hole. 15, 10, 5, 4. Flag down late.
Real late.
And now the officials have to jump between a couple of the players. Jim Hefner of Eastern Michigan is signaling holding.
Holding against San Jose State. So that's going to bring it back. And that was a late flag because that took place after Jackson was inside the 10-yard line. See it right here. We can see number 77. We can't see the holding call anywhere, but the flag doesn't go down until about right now.
It's late. It's very late. It's a senseless holding play penalty because Kenny Jackson was 15 yards away from the play. At least when the referee threw it. Stan. And that's a ridiculous play.
Well, I'll tell you what, when tempers start flaring, and we've seen a lot of today, stupid things happen. And players make stupid mistakes. I mean, Jim Carter in his last game gets thrown out. He'll remember that the rest of his life. He may remember that holding call that cost him the ball game.
Here's Perez.
Double pass.
Wells going to throw. He threw it short. Liggins comes back and can't make the catch. And Gordon almost had a shot to recover, apparently, and never hit the ground there. Charles Gordon did it. As the Spartans go back to their deep into their playbook, they throw with Scott Wells on a flanker pass.
Wells has thrown one other pass this year for 37 yards. Backward, the first pass is backwards, which is the key. Now watch this. Watch the ball bounce up off his heel. Now watch Gordon here. It's an easy interception for him, but he runs into his own man and drops the ball. Either of them could have had it easily.
Hit the back of Menard's leg and bounced up, and Gordon could have picked it off and couldn't. Second down and 20. Play action. Perez is all day. Now he fires. Too high for Saxon. He can't pull it down.
See what Liggins is pounding his thigh pads. He's standing in the middle wide open. You don't think Perez is going to miss Liggins standing wide open, but he did. I don't know what he was looking at, but Liggins was right in the 20-yard line with nobody within 5 yards of him.
That's twice he has done that. At least you've noticed it twice, Stan, Liggins being wide open.
A lot easier to see it up here, though,
Certainly.
Greg, than it is down there with the rush coming. But I tell you, that's the difference between a great quarterback and a good quarterback, is seeing all those things. Vision plays a predominant role in the key positions. That's why Larry Bird is so good, because he sees everything.
Third down. William McLeod dropped it, got it back, and then got his bell rung. He was really popped there by Jerry Smith.
But he does make the catch, which changes the situation now. They're still going to punt it, or are they going to try a long field goal? You can see the ball pop out of his hands. He takes his eye off of it, but he has enough presence to go back and get the ball. He takes the big hit by Jerry Smith that holds on. But with that yardage, it allows him to kick a field goal. Without that yardage, they'd had to punt it.
It's not that long of a field goal, 45 yards.
Pretty good wind
Sergio
coming now.
Oliveras, yes, wind behind him. From this distance, he's made 1 of 4. It's up. It is no good.
He just pulled that directly left. Yeah, there was a good breeze, good wind coming through here. He could have got it there.
We have exactly 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of the California Bowl, and the team from California leads by 4 at 27-23. Following Oliveras' miss from 45, the Hurons take it at their own 28. Down by 4. The wind kicking up. The rain has subsided here in Fresno. Adams spins 360, pitches to Patton, who makes a good inside cut and picks up great yardage before being pulled down from behind by a defensive lineman. Number 76, Richard Johnson, pulled him down.
It's a good thing Richard Johnson got him, too, because he was the last guy that had a good shot at him. This is what they're hoping to get against his 46. Out there, good position. Now watch his cutback right there, right down the hash mark. Now watch Johnson. He doesn't make it. He can break outside that cut, and he may go all the way, because I don't think Cox is going to catch him.
Gary Patton is now 3 yards away from 100, rushing on only 16 carries. Clock rolls, 7:38 to play. Spartans up 4. Here's Patton. Dodges 2 behind the line. Now he's going the wrong way.
That quarterback tackled him.
He actually backed into Adams. That's the 2 co-MVP offensive players meeting in their own backfield.
Yeah, I don't think they'll show that at the awards ceremony when they give him the co-MVP. Watch him right here. He makes 3 or 4 men miss, but he ends up going the wrong direction. Now watch right here. Oh, I got you. Come on down before you lose any more.
He was looking for the ball to make sure he didn't lose it. 7 yards they lost. 7-yard drop. So he was at 97. Now he's at 90. Gary Patton.
Eastern Michigan remains in the game. You look back to that holding penalty that negated the run for San Jose inside the 5-yard line.
Back slip into the eye on a 2nd and 17. Adams pressured. Cox missed him though. He steps up and runs. And he's hit by 2 or 3. Spartans, maybe the toughest one of all, Yepi Pa'u'u out of Santa Ana, a senior.
Well, that's what they have on that defense. A lot of guys that can move, a lot of guys that can run, and they can close those gaps. It looked when he took off from the pocket like he had a lot of room to run, but by the time he got back to the line of scrimmage, there was 3 and 4 guys ready to hit him, and they did.
10th third down for Eastern Michigan. They picked up 4 of their first 9. They need 12 yards on this play. They need midfield. They hand off to Patton. He's going to get midfield and more. He cuts it. Now he stumbles. He was trying to make the move outside and pop it the whole way. And he just stumbled inside the 30-yard line. 25-yard gain for Gary Patton.
What a good call. In fact, the bobbled snap made it even look more effective. Like it was not going to be a draw play. You see a good block there, cuts the linebacker down. Patton's just taking off. He goes to make the break right here on Rasnick. You see if Rasnick got him from the heel from behind. I think he didn't slip. I think Rasnick got him from behind on the heel, which got him down. Other than that, he may still be running. Big day for Gary Patton. What a way to close out his illustrious career at Eastern Michigan.
He takes a blow. Bob Foster comes in, number 22. They run the fullback Nash, though, off a counter. He carries people to about the 22-yard line. Nash is put together. 5'9½", 235-pound freshman from Muskegon, Michigan.
Reminds me of a teammate of mine, the human bowling ball, Don Nottingham.
Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, rooting for the Bills. I never liked Don Nottingham.
Yeah, I guess you did. Much not like me either.
You were a smart player. I enjoyed watching you play.
I'll tell you what, Nottingham went to Kent State, which is an MAC school, and he set a lot of records down there. Kent's doing real well in their own right now with Glenn Mason as their head coach. They beat Kansas this year, the Big 8 team.
He's a former teammate of yours with Buckeyes. Second down, 4 yards to go. Here's a pitch behind Jimmy Johnson. He picks it up, and then he's pulled down by Greg Cox.
Just a bad pitch by Adams. Adams is making some bad decisions here. The interception, now watch his pitch. He sees the crash man coming, which means he has to pitch the ball, but he just put too much velocity on it. He'd have lost a little bit so Johnson could run under it.
2nd and 4, they go to 3rd and 14, which is like death against this Spartan defense. They pin their ears back, they come.
They got burnt the last time in long yardage. They came on 3rd and 16. Will they do it again?
Stan, it's getting late here. We have 4:08 to play. They need the 18-yard line. Adams going for it all. It's out there. It is caught for a touchdown. And that is Craig Ostrander.
He's going deep all the way. Watch right here. It's just the back split. It's maximum protection. He just throws it deep down the sideline. It's good coverage. He just misses the ball. Ostrander comes down with it for the touchdown. He's there. Phil Fresh is there. He just has to knock the ball down. He's right there. He's just back there ready to knock it down, and he misses it.
Jim Harkema said Phil Fresh is their weakest defensive player on San Jose State's team. He is not gifted with great speed, but he has not been beaten yet deep this year until right there. And you know Harkema saved that one for when he wanted it, and they needed it. Touchdown, 32 yards. Adams on the pass to Craig Ostrander. And the Hurons, 17-point underdogs, have a 3-point lead with 4 minutes to play. This 7th annual California Bowl is being brought to you by the Fresno Convention and Visitors Bureau, by Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick, and by Delta Airlines.
Well, Greg, I told you they should have went for 1 after the last touchdown.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it out of you. 3:59 to play. Adams to Ostrander, 32 yards. Caps off that 72-yard drive. In the second half, Adams has thrown for 121 yards, or pardon me, 100 yards on 7 of 12. In the first half, he threw for no yards. Hit 2 of 3, but no yards.
Field position off this kickoff is important. It's going to be a short kick again.
It's going down to James Saxon at his 15-yard line. 35, 40, look at this, 46-yard line.
Got to get a kicker. I tell you that. They cannot allow that to happen. They might as well squib the ball down there and hope that they can't run it back. That's killing them.
And the only reason the guy is out there is because he's a long kicker. I can't believe they're not instructing him to do that. He's not even getting the ball 50 yards downfield.
Well,
horrible.
He's kicking as hard as he can. You need to run on a kickoff. Take advantage of it. Not kicking a field goal.
Well, Gilbert's team is down 3, but he has Mike Perez, who has brought his team back late. Time and time again, Perez throws. Kenny Jackson complete, gets a block. 50, 45. He's shoved out of bounds in Eastern Michigan territory by Dan Bennett. Freshman corner, 3:44 to play.
They got out of bounds, too. That stops the clock. Just a little dump pass. You watch, he'll have to, right now he's going to have to pump once. And I remember got knocked down earlier. This time he pumps, lets a man come back down, and gets the ball out. But Anthony Johnson that time's got to stay outside. He has contained. He can't let him get down the sidelines.
Kenny Jackson's having a big day. Again, last year in the California Bowl, he was hurt early, wound up with 6 carries, 18 yards. He has caught 7 passes today for 58. And the handoff goes to James Saxon, bulling his way across the 35-yard line.
I'll tell you what, there is no overtime. So if they do get stopped, what do you do, huh? Do you go for the field goal for the tie, or do you go all the way for the win? I think a tie would really put a thorn in the side of their season at San Jose State. I think anything less than a win, and they wouldn't have a successful season.
I would have kicked the extra point when I had a shot before.
I told you that. I told you that.
Stan White is the ultimate second guesser. Even second guessing himself. We have a 2nd and 3. Perez throws, McLeod drops it, then catches his bobble, and he didn't get anything.
That's the difference the step makes. By the time he bobbles it, the pursuit is there. If he catches it clean, he may get past that first wave. They've used this play many times today, and they've given it off on that play. Remember, Saxon walked in for a touchdown. This time it's the fake, throw out to the flat. Now, if he gets it, goes there, he can beat the first wave, but by the time that ball comes down, forget it. There's 2, 3 guys there. He's lucky to get back to the line. He could have got by Eric Miller if he'd have caught it cleanly.
Senior lineman Phil Seletko ran him down out of Blue Island, Illinois.
Well, you know it's
24 to play.
You know it's 4 down territory here, so it's 3rd and 2. Running play wouldn't be bad.
Next split, Perez drops straight. Stumbles, fires. It is tipped and almost picked off by Charles Gordon. Great coverage there. The intended receiver was Kenny Roberts.
He's saying, I should have caught the ball. You catch the ball there, you might ice the game. Watch it. Watch the ball thrown behind. He slips there. Maybe that's why, but the ball's thrown behind the receiver, and Gordon comes in, almost makes the interception. If he wouldn't have collided with Kenny Roberts, he probably would have come down with it.
Charles Gordon's a strong player. First team All-MAC this year.
4th down. This is the play of the game right here.
Well, right now the field goal is 52. That's too far. 2:15 to play.
They're playing for a tie.
They need the 32-yard line. Perez throws. It is dropped by Saxon. Eastern Michigan has the ball with 2:10 to go.
And they're going wild on the sideline.
Not that sideline. Claude Gilbert of the Spartans are almost dead. That sideline. What a story this Huron team is.
Well, I was so surprised they went zone. This is almost like give them the first down. They throw the little check down pass. Saxon's got it easily. All he's got to turn around and run.
Turned his head too early.
Oh, I mean, tell you what, all the things he's done this year, the play he'll remember is that one. If they don't make a big play, they have 2 timeouts left.
And they will use them on defense.
And there is no 2-minute warning to stop the clock in college football.
Gary Patton has the job, along with that line, of running this thing out. Pick up a couple of firsts, and the Hurons are going to win this bowl game. They don't get anything on this play, as Pa'u'u slanted in there and tripped him up in the backfield. No gain.
And they call timeout right away. You got to use your timeouts as soon as you can.
2:03 to play. Eastern Michigan has the ball and a 3-point lead. Rick Pappas, Stan White, back in Fresno. We just each filled out our MVP ballot. We voted for Perez. You did for San Jose State. I voted for Kenny Jackson. But for Eastern Michigan, we both voted for Gary Patton. And right now, he's the man. He has to sort this thing out. 2:03 to play.
Right here.
Here's Patton hit behind the line, breaks a tackle, bounces off, and he's down to the 41-yard line. He picked up 6 when he should have had nothing, but he stayed on his feet. Gary Patton today has gone for 120 yards on 20 carries.
Yeah, and again, the same guy, Greg Cox. I mean, you know they're going to run the football. Wild go in there like a wild hare. You know, go under control. You're coming free. Just make the tackle.
Timeout called. Last one expended by the Spartans. 1:45 to play. We're facing now a 3rd down and 3.
Here's the play again. It's that little sprint draw. Now watch Cox. He's coming free. All he has to do is slow down, get under control, and he still gets him for at least no gain, if not a 2-yard loss. Now watch that great play. I mean, good balance by Patton. They're lucky he didn't break this for an even longer, because a first down salts the game away right now. it's it if they make a first down, because there's no timeouts left for San Jose State.
They're down at 4. Boy, Jim Harkema has some decision to make here. What do you do on 3rd and 4, Stan? I mean, Patton's run well, but 4 yards to pick up is tough on a running play.
You run the football because you're going to get at least 30-some seconds off the clock. You're going to be close to a minute left by the time the other team gets the ball.
Eastern Michigan facing their 11th 3rd down conversion try. They've made 5 of the first 10.
With a 3-point lead, you also know that San Jose State has got to go all the way for the touchdown. They are not going to kick a field goal for the tie at this point. They got to go all the way. If there's a 2-point lead, you might want to pass in this situation.
Bootleg. Adams keeps it. He has field, and he has the first down at the 47-yard line. Ron Adams on a bootleg. They went up the middle. He kept it and went left.
That's a good call on a key play of the game to get everybody wanting to make the play. And nobody, this guy over here just did not hold his position. I didn't get the number on that, who that was, the outside man over there. I think it was Tim Wells, number 49. But he has that control on the outside, and he just got over answers trying to make the play. And as an outside linebacker, that was my position. You have to know you cannot make the play on the other side of the field.
Right.
I mean, you got to take care of your own responsibility. He didn't. All they had to do is fall on the ball now. They didn't even have to do anything.
The only negative about that play, and it's a very minor one, he didn't stay in bounds, but who cares? He picked up the first down. Confusion reigns here. Bob Foster was running on the field. I'm not sure how many players the Hurons had on the field in this situation. They ran the play.
They only had 10. They don't need to have 11. It's, as long as you have 7 on the line, that's all you have to do.
Better too little than too many. Clock rolls, 1:20 to play. Eastern Michigan, 17-point underdogs, are 1:15 away from the biggest victory in the school's history after many big victories this year. What a year for the Hurons. Best year ever in the 95-year history. Adams goes to one knee. 58 seconds to play. The Spartans are out of timeouts, and they can't do anything about it. And the one stat, the biggest stat of the ball game, is Adams, and the Hurons celebrate, and well, they should. Time of possession, Eastern Michigan 36:05, San Jose State 23:55. Jim Harkema's wishbone attack, the game plan, was dead on today.
Well, this is the culmination of bringing this program from nothing all the way to the pinnacle of being the champion of the Cal Bowl. I mean, who would have thought Eastern Michigan, when they were losing 27 games in a row, would ever come close to something like this?
They hand off.
I don't know why they did that.
It's the shades of Pisarcik to Zonka, but they don't fumble. 15 seconds to go, and it's over.
Yeah, Herman Edwards.
Michigan runs out.
Herman Edwards, the guy that picked it up, is an assistant coach for San Jose State on that Zonka fumble. So maybe he was thinking of it on the sideline.
Well, he was a happy man that day. He's a sad man today, but Jim Harkema runs off the field with a victory over San Jose State. The Mid-American Conference snaps the PCAA's